Willie C, the heat machine. Alright. I just did the cooling machine. I'm late. Oh, Bob said I'm late. Bob, why behave like a 12-year-old? Come on. I'm fashionably late. Uber driver. We wouldn't want to be late for the Uber driver Bob game. Let everyone gather around. Fashionable lateness. I have very important business every Thursday right before the stream. One of my most important appointments every week. So I'm oftentimes having to start my streams a few minutes late. It is a fact of life. Boom! Alright. So, this is our subscriber stream. Be sure to donate and support the stream. Like Universitate. Donate a gift sub, please. Subscribe and donate Mr. Coffee 1000 bits. Turkey Farm 300. Make PogChamps great again. Thank you guys for supporting the stream. IBYM, welcome. You've got a game in the list. I've got Bob Sakamano 27. What is it with the 2-7 anyway? It's like playing a lot of Texas Hold'em. That's your favorite hand? Resident Spectator is game 2. Mr. Bites is game 3. Bogachog was just a position from one of my games that he was talking about. That's number 4. IBYM is 5. Sumaher 6. Let's say Morales 7. Poor Uber driver got 2 games in this week. Oh, he got a win. Actually, Morales has submitted a win. And then Astrobate is a Mule Skinner and then Astrobate. So I have 9 games already, including Mule Skinner, and I probably forgot someone. We got a lot of games this week. Don't forget to submit games every week as early as possible, basically. You know, so you get it in on time. We're much better about that today. Move 11 is gonna be coming in a little later and be like, is there room for one more? I really don't have time to do more than 10 because it's usually taking us to the 10 o'clock hour, which is then I turn into a pumpkin. Spectacular Camel, yours is just a 5-minute game. Was it 5 minutes or was it even faster than that? Someone submitted, maybe it wasn't you, okay. Oh man, somebody like Sumer submitted what looked like a 1.5 minute game or something crazy. It must have been 3 minute with berserking, right? Like a 3 minute where people berserk gives you 90 seconds to start with. Just ignore Bob. He's no longer a founder. He's been unfoundered. Can we unfounder Mr. Coffee, people? Mr. Bites, aka Spectacular Camel, Spectacular Camel, do you want to go earlier so you can get out of here? Bob asked his girlfriend to watch the stream and record it on the VCR or something while we go over his game with Uber Driver. I drew a national expert. I drew a chess expert, and they're gonna talk about it on the live stream. Don't tell them about it on the first date, man. Arsenal fan, welcome, dude. You're gonna start mailing you VHS tapes. I bet you got a lot in your library. I prefer beta. Alright. Uber Driver vs. Bob Sack. This is first game. I haven't seen this from Black's perspective. Wonder whatever came over Uberdriver. Was this a mouse slip, or he's just trolling Bob with e3? I guess Uberdriver just wants to bust the French defense with white pieces. Still haven't put the game together. I have this guy, like, hunting me for this game I played with Hebden. He texted me again today. I keep looking through my boxes for this game I played, like, 15 years ago. I can't find it. D5, knight f3, knight f6, and now c4. Okay, so what do we got here? It's, well, it's a number of different openings. It could be. But Black, has to decide now what he wants to play. Is it going to be the Queen's Gambit accepted, the Queen's Gambit declined, or the Slav? Those are your options. You can also play a symmetrical English with c5. So as my 11-year-old son would say, you legit have 3 options here. You legit have 4 options here. Bob went with option number 4. Door number 4. Imagine Bob comes up with that. We never expected. Who expected c5 here? From the Bob. The Sicilian is in his blood. Okay, it's a symmetrical English. I think on some level c5 is the best move. It's the most space-oriented move. You're not surrendering your center. You're not playing a passive holding move. c5 is definitely the best legit aggressive move. Another move you might be able to play here is like g6. Because white's played e3, e4 is not really a big threat. Skew really gets pretty tough treatment from viewers. You mean tough treatment by verbal, like, trolling? Or you mean, like, he gets, like, beaten chess-wise? Are we talking verbal abuse or chess abuse? Chess abuse. Chess bustrin. Nobody controls Skew really good. He has the ability to lose without. Yeah, g6 is legit possible too. So you have 5 options actually. I think white's best move is probably d4. But cd5 is fine. Maybe it's not clear which is better. So Bob's now playing a symmetrical English. If d4 we transpose back into a Panov, or you like c4 and c5, you would play like c4, c5, then it makes sense to play this. So this is quiet a3. Uberdriver here thinking, he's playing black. He's trying to play black with the white pieces. So he's trying to get, Bob to play like the white side of the Sicilian. But you've got to be careful when you're playing a reverse opening with black that you don't try for too much, basically. Knight c6 is awfully principled. But my problem here, but to be honest with you, white's last move is interesting. He doesn't have a lot of options, that don't commit this bishop. I mean, what's he going to do? a3, knight c3, bishop c4, bishop b5, check. Maybe b3 is a move. After a3, knight c6, the big question is bishop b5, I think. The problem is, this is a kind of bluff. Like, you can't trade that bishop off and have like a million weaknesses on the light squares. You're going to be sorry if you did that. Knight c6 doesn't prevent d4. Well, we can't prevent d4, it looks like. We're not in any position to do that. Yeah, G6 is totally playable. Arse. I'm kind of surprised that no one played that here. But there's not many games. Or there's one game. This doesn't look like a critical move, really. Yeah, G6 is playable. Not a bad idea. In fact, like, White probably should play D4. I don't know, this might be an annoying threat to, like, take on C5. That seems like an issue, to be honest with you. I don't know that I like this. Like, bishop G7, pawn takes pawn. Queen A5 check. Let's say. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay, they said to me. Anyway, interesting stuff. Anyway, Bob's move is good. White plays bishop b2. This is really kind of lame for White, but what's he supposed to play? Yeah, it's queen c2, isn't it? It looks like Uber Driver was a little too... No, I mean, I don't know. Let's see. Queen c2, e5. That feels right. Putting pressure on e5. Now Bob has to play... Yeah, he's got to play queen c2. Here. It's a Paulson... It's like a Paulson reversed. But I think that Blob, where's Blobix? Bob versus Blobix, love Bob too. No, e6 too passive. Okay, it's a move. Yeah, it's alright, It's a little passive. I don't know. Yeah, Bob, maybe e6 is okay. b3, bishop e7, bishop e2. Like, these guys played in 03. Castles. White's playing like, yeah, both sides are playing a very safe position here. The only reason Black won in this game, yeah, this 2200 drew Tatai back in 1981. The only reason the guy won was because he was like a 2591 playing a 2350. White is not really better here. I think e5 is more aggressive. So, you know, theoretically, I don't love this, but it's solid. It's a little on the passive side. Clearly, you can go for e5. Yeah, well, if he plays e6, he's going to have to try to get his bishop out, you know, on b7 later. e5 is much more aggressive. Obviously, e5 weakens more squares, and it requires more, you know, being careful later on. But you're going to play f6 eventually. So, I mean, if you play e5, castles, bishop e6, and the idea is that if this pawn comes under threat, you know, by that, you'll play f6. These type of positions are very normal if you're playing the Sicilian in reverse. Yeah, this is a bit early, the b6, but probably okay. Actually, maybe not. Queen c2, b6. Can't Uber Driver hit you? Oh, he did with b4. Obviously, the other question is d4. Ironically, maybe that's better, right? Now you've got the threat of e4 and possibly taking on c5. Well, definitely taking on c5. Uber Driver did it the other way, where he played like b4 right away. But the problem is, I guess, after bishop b7, like, what's the big deal? Take. You could take with the pawn. I don't love it. If you take with the bishop, white has the center. I almost think it's better to, like, take and play d4 here with white. Princess chess. 6-4. The computer likes d4. Castles as well. You can always wait, but I think you should strike now. While this knight is hanging, white has a chance to, like, equalize. Or maybe more than equalize. That's what Uber Driver should have done. He did the other way. Bishop b7. So Bob surprises me now. Good to see you, Princess Chess. Thanks for being a subscriber. Who else is here? Subscriber stream. Please subscribe, donate some gift subs, and lots of cash to the stream. Appreciate. Bob, you have to realize the issue is this. Bob just simply didn't give a crap about it. He's like, whatever, I'll just take back with my pawn on c5. But Bob, you should try to preserve your pawn structure objectively. Bishop b7 takes, and then you take with a piece, so that on the, you know, on d4 you can come back. And I'm still scared about it, though. I don't know. You know, I don't like these, like, rolling central pawns. There's a case to be made for Bob taking back with the pawn on c5, to be honest. But it's a debate you've got to have with yourself. Like, during the game, you know, you've got to consider both options. This now he doesn't have a choice. Like, he has to take with the pawn. The choice has been made for him. Castle, castle, d3. You know, so okay, you've got an isolated pawn on c5. It's not good, but it's not the end of the world. Draw it. Bishop b7. This is a nice tender open file here. Queen e7, connecting the rooks. Notice, Uber Driver not going with the bishop b2 necessarily, but taking this opportunity to play knight e4. So Bob is, as they say in the UK, Bob's position is starting to creak. It looks very creaky. The c5 pawn is creaking. The main mast is like making a crackling sound where this like wooden piling is holding up the c5. It looks like, you know, it might not weather the storm. I mean, it wouldn't be surprising if something between like this, and the c5 pawn, you know, caused black to like lose material. But this is a heads-up move. Rook f c8, man. It's a good move. I think it's a good move because he keeps his other rook to go to the b file. Most people, like the average noob, would play this. But it's possible this is actually a better move. So the other rook can come here. I don't know. You know, I mean, maybe this is the better move. I mean, this pawn is also a target. I think both of these pawns are targets. So fc8, knight takes d6. Uber Driver doesn't need to take that right away, you know. Uber Driver is like Capablanca. Mr. Simplicity, but he doesn't have to rush, I guess. It's not going anywhere. Or is it? Or is it? I mean, say you play bishop d2 and black plays, oh, I'm going to play bishop b8. We're just taking this pawn. There's like no discovery. Not like black has a discovery here. He might, though. No, there could be some crazy shit that happens on these diagonals. So Uber is not screwing around. He plays knight takes d6, queen d6, bishop b2. Bishop b2 is interesting too. I wonder if bishop b2 is overrated. Totally natural move, but it blocks the b file. And it also, seems to me like there might be cases where this bishop controls this. So there's a case to be made for bishop d2. I mean, because here you would connect the rooks, but also kind of dominate the knights. I wonder if bishop e2 is too automatic. Another idea is to maneuver knight d2, knight e4, hit c5. Obviously, that can also be done with like knight g5. Interesting game. Arsenal. He's like a chess analysis contrarian. He's trying to do impossible shit, like play c4. Challenging the natural order of things is Arsenal's business. That would be very satisfying if you could play c4. I'm satisfied with black here just holding. God, this is rough, man. f6. Oof. Maybe it's a good move. I don't know. It looks unnecessary. Ben Feingold is cringing, but he's stopping knight g5. No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I mean, he needs a dark square replacement. It's like gene therapy. Since black doesn't have dark square bishop, the pawns sort of take its place. You can play with e5 later. Stopping knight g5 is not the only idea. But he has knight d2. He plays it. Yeah, I mean, this is an active threat. This is just a good outpost, but it doesn't do anything. So now you defended. Yeah, I mean, that's a problem. Now we're talking like c4, could pop up. And Uber Driver just, yeah, he's the master of simplicity. I mean, take. I don't think that black is threatening anything here. I still don't think c4 is even a threat. Someone's mentioning this. Uber Driver has a tendency to allow too much simplification. It looks like he's settling for too little. Now Bob has an interesting possibility of queen c3 here, but it looks like it might not do anything. It's like hope chess. White could just play rook c1, or he could go queen a4 and just leave you hanging out there with no squares. That's kind of a problem. I like, dude has no squares. Your bishop's attacked, and the queen has no squares. You'd have to take here. But I see, fair amount of weaknesses on these white squares. I think white is still better. So takes, knight b6, guards here. Black should like maybe be holding on barely. The bishop's a little better than the knight. Lost position. Holding on barely or totally lost. Wow. Holy shit. The engine is like, it's just totally lost. Queen a6 and he's totally lost. Okay, he probably has something else. Okay, queen c3 is just a bad move. Whatever. Alright, I'm just suggesting a random move that sucks. We should just take it right away, and that's what he did. Of course. Just saying. You can consider queen c7, obviously. That's a better option than queen c3. So you take, queen takes, knight c3, the oof variation. Now it's a draw. What? Yeah, your knight doesn't have a stable outpost. So, Mr. Bob. Mr. Bob, what are you going to do? Like, sack on e3? Dr. Bob. Dr. Bob, I think against a higher rated player here, you should be satisfied. You know, take on e2, and then just, like, draw this heavy piece ending. Because despite the fact that your pawns are isolated, his pawn's isolated, his other one is backwards. So I think it's a wash. White's advantage is very, very minuscule. Micro wiener. Alright, how big is the micro wiener here? Point. The micro wiener advantage is 0.5, 0.4. Not much for white. I would satisfy myself with that. But Bob's playing for more. But I think that Bob is probably, you know, risking being worse now. He allows the fork again. It's kind of weird, man. I mean, who plays Rook B1? Rook B3, like, stops this. It's kind of a weird move by Uber Driver. He's like, fork me again. It feels good. Are you serious? Like, you're going to let him do it to you again? Why are you letting him fork you a second time? Like, you enjoyed the first one so much, you just want to do it again? That's a funny move. I would think you just kick him out of there. You know, Rook B3 and white is a little bit better. Then you can play maybe Rook B1 like here. Here. That drops a pawn, actually. It's not so easy for black. He has to keep this pawn protected. Bishop F3. Right, we can't, though, you know. Your rook is hanging. It's a minor detail. Minor details like rooks never really enter into Uber Driver's move-to-move calculations. Turkey Farm, thanks for... I usually don't see it myself in the morning. In the afternoons, I'm a little more alert. I had my second coffee about an hour ago, so I'm pretty good right now. I'm not seeing that. I'm not missing that hanging rook. Either really late or early in the morning, and I'm just, like, handicapped. In a certain position, of course. Well, the bishop's stronger piece, man, than a knight in the long run. I can't believe... This is a sick move. H5. Bob, you're playing Uber Driver. He's 22-24. What are you doing here? Just get in there and get his bishop. Get out, you know, and get the draw. What are you trying to do here? H5. This is a totally psycho move. Alright. Uber Driver with H3 reaction. Maybe, like, H4 is even better. But actually, Uber Driver was talking about Bishop F3. Why not play Bishop F3 then? I kind of think H4 ain't bad either. No, eventually you play G3 and the bishop goes long diagonal. You don't have to move your H-pawn. H5, Bob. No respect. H3. Now he goes back to C3. He comes to his senses. And then Bob has 2 minutes. Uber Driver has 2 minutes. I don't understand what happened now. So Uber Driver could, like, move his rook to a sensible location. Let's just, for argument's sake, say Rook C1. What's the problem, officer? Do you have a problem? Maybe Uber Driver just, like, totally spaced on it? Oh, I see. He played Bishop F3. Oh, man. He's, like, dropping... He's dropping in exchange. Knight takes B1. This is just hanging. So he just straight up dropped an exchange. And then Bob's just completely better. You know, the only thing I wondered was, like, why was Bob's pawn on h5? Not an easy position to win, but black should be winning. I don't know that d4 is a threat. But h5 didn't make your king safer. So we want to be cautious here. We should win it. Trading pieces is the main thing. Try to systematically, like, exchange down all the pieces. I'm not saying it's easy to win for black, but you should win it. This allows d4. That's a big problem. Bob pretty much immediately blundered. I don't think a d4 is a huge threat. Like, you play king f7, hypothetically. d4 takes. Queen takes. Does white really want to do that? I don't think so. He's already down too much material. Like, you're going to lose if you do this. If you try to grab the two rooks, you're going to lose. So d4 is not a threat. Unless you pin yourself, which you did. Boom. Very bad tactical oversight. Queen f5 now, trying to trade pieces. Here. And then I thought you should, you know, do the natural rook b1. Though, takes, king up. I don't know. Maybe black's winning somehow, but it doesn't look easy. Queen f5, c6. And Uber is able to keep that monster passed pawn on c6. I don't think he's losing anymore. Yeah. But there was another move which came up later. Here, c6, king h8, h4, king, sorry, g3, queen d6, yeah, here. I left the board now thinking now Bob was going to lose, but I thought Uber Driver could take the pawn. It was just a misevaluation. I thought Uber Driver could take this, but it's not possible because you dropped c6. So it looks like Uber Driver should just play, I don't know, rook d1. a3's hanging, but black's king looks really dubious. So rook d1, white is still better, probably. And Uber Driver gave him the draw. The game was actually not rook d1, but rook c3. It's not a bad move, actually. Guarding a3. And then e5, which is bad. e5 is really bad. This weakens your... Yeah, Bob totally freaked out. It weakens your white square is even worse. The h5 was the first really bad move. But now it's like, man, I saw this and I was like, oh, okay, I'm not going to watch this anymore. But Bob's going down in flames. He's going to actually lose. Uber Driver was nice to give him a draw here. Even though white's down the exchange, it looks like he's clearly better. Well, he's got a big pawn for it. Big pawn for the exchange, safer king. And black's rooks are just useless, you know, bottled up behind that pawn. It's interesting. If my move, rook d1, this is probably too dangerous. Uber Driver moved to like defend his a3 pawn, but I think this is very dangerous for black. I mean, maybe this a pawn is something. But the computer pointed out that black has this, counter sack. Bob counter sack a mano. And that's the kind of thing you got to do when you're actively defending. I mean, I think rook takes c6 is a really smart move. We can transfer to a... Actually, he can't take that. How do we play this? I'm confused. Wow. He can't take that. Wow. It's just a strong move. Okay. So, rook takes c6. Queen F1. Yeah, I don't like my move, in retrospect. Then maybe Rook B1. But anyway, let's do this example. Rook B1, Rook takes C6. Bishop takes C6. Just sack the exchange back, Bob. That's why you're Bob Sacamano. And Uber driver should not trade queens. H5 was insane. It was kind of an insane move. There's some positions where that's appropriate. Cooking rooks just submitted a game. That'll be our last one for today. Any other further game analysis will have to be, pay to play. Cooking rooks, last one for today. Alright, rooks. Thank you, Master. Thank you, Bob, for the generous donation you're about to receive. We're about to receive a generous donation from Bob. Rapid chess, cooking rooks versus Jokulu. Why do I always come at the end of the stream? It's not the end of the stream, Kami. This is just the beginning. Don't worry. Uptime. That was first game. Can't get enough. But it's like 89 degrees in my office, and this wine cooler, or whatever you call it, watermelon cider isn't going to last very long. One game and I'm halfway through my watermelon cider in 90-degree weather. Turkey farm. Sorry, I was distracted. No room for a game today. Turkey farm. No room. You're always late. Late is inexcusable. That's what they said in Sigma Chi. Early is on time is late, and late is inexcusable. And I live by it. You'll be you can be an alternate, Turkey farm. You'll be an alternate. First alternate. Turkey farm is always first alternate. First Bob alternate. Alright, this is cooking rooks. Last game, okay. You guys can of course, pay large amounts of money to have your games moved forward in the list. Turkey farm, you were in last week, but you sent a game that we already did, right? I'm looking for Turkey farm. Yeah. You sent another after that one. Testosterone. 2 hours ago. Are you like chat banned or something? Do you have like a Sumahair chat ban? Are you like shadow banned, Turkey farm? Like when Sumahair sends me stuff, it never notifies me. Oh no, move 11. Bob gifted a... Alright, hype train on the way. Move 11 gifting tier 1 sub to the community. To Moon Walken. Christopher Walken. Bob Sacamano gifting a tier 1 sub. I knew the gift was on the way. Akatosh 994. Somebody got offended by Turkey Farm not being not enough of an asshole. Yeah, seriously. Not toxic enough. Alright guys, thank you. We're close to a hype train. Don't forget to donate. Oops. Clicked on the wrong thing. Mr. Coffee just used 200 bits. Don't spend them all in one place. Johnny Depp called. He said he likes the stream. He wants to do a live song together. Hype train is close. 3 minutes. I'll sing with Johnny Depp if we get a hype train. Cooking Rooks gifted 5 gift subs to Monsapiad, Lukash, Gaming, Blueberry Monster, and 2345666. Hype train is super close. Nice on a Thursday hype train. The Thursday choo choo. Any hype train conductors? Mr. Coffee, Cooking Rooks must be a hype train conductor. Where's Cooking Rooks? He must be a hype train conductor. Mr. Move 11 must be a hype train. Somebody's a hype train conductor. I keep feeling like we need a hype train conductor. It increases the chance of a hype train. Yeah, Mr. Move 11's got it. Former hype train conductor. That's like former international master. Like me. Wait, what are we on? Game 2. It's Bites. Cooking Rooks is not a hype train conductor. Guys, 2 minutes. We're 1 donation away. 500 from Uber driver. I got a draw. I'm happy. You were a nice guy, man. Cooking Rooks was just a nice guy. He gave Bob a draw because he loves draws so much. I was like shouting out during the stream, offer a draw, Bob. He loves draws. But you guys didn't tell me and I didn't see the end. Who offered the draw? Did Bob listen to the stream and like offer a draw like I told him to? Or did Uber driver just like naturally, instinctually offer a draw in a better position to a low rated player with more time? IVYM just gifted tier 1 sub to Senku. Bob heard me. Mr. Coffee donated 1,000 bits. Huge gifting festival now. Cooking Rooks. IVYM. Mr. Coffee. Uber driver. We got the hype train. Level 1. While we try to get to level 2 hype train, we're going to start game 2, which is Deb versus Resident Inspector. Is that right? Yeah. Because Resident Inspector actually got the game in first. Resident Inspector, are you here? Hype train 9% of the way. We don't know too much about Resident Inspector. Boga's not Resident Inspector. Bogolyabov. Nair Lotep. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'll just bust a little bit of Lovecraft. NVLASSOP. Nivlasop. Posalvn. Whatever it is. It sounds like a Lovecraft monster. Thank you for 100 bits from the Lovecraft monster. Nair Lorthep. Alright, so this is game 2. It's Resonance Inspector with Black, Karo Khan. Yeah. Okay, C5. So now this is just not a dangerous move. White has to play either D takes C5 or maybe Knight F3. But C3 is just not a dangerous move. So you're just not even trying to, test Black's variation if you play C3. It's too passive. I mean, White might still be better, but the other moves have to be more critical, especially D takes C5. This is the critical continuation. Alright, C3. I'm not doing an opening analysis stream on the Karo Khan with C5. 86% of the way to level 1. Guys, we're almost there. We have 3 minutes to get to level 1. Just a little more support. Knight C6. Now, White could play takes on C5. But you don't, that doesn't seem right. Like, once White has gone to the trouble of, protecting this pawn chain, I mean, to be honest, one of the most important ideas here, after takes, is for White to play stuff like A3, B4, and oftentimes, put the bishop on B2. Good Vibrations, the Beach Boys. But if you played c3, right, and then if you try to like take on c5 now, it's kind of inconsistent, I would say. So knight f3, and now black took on d4. Well, h5 would be better here than where Bob played it. We like teasing Bob. It wasn't that bad. It just wasn't a great move. It wasn't that bad. Yeah, so now pawn takes pawn. Releasing the tension a little bit early. It looks like it's a good move. It looks like bishop g4 is also a good move. Cooking rooks, 77. Pair of 7s. We're up to 88%. We need a pair of 8s. Pocket Snowman. I was playing in this poker tournament a couple weeks ago, and there was this Chinese guy. I think he was Chinese. He might have been Vietnamese, but in any case, like, Asian people think that 8s are really lucky. And he made the worst call ever with like all of his chips. He was totally lost like 3 ways against 2 other players, and just miraculously like flipped over the cards with pocket 8s and like hit this like 8 on the river. Just reminded me of that. All right, 8-8. 8-8. 6-7 or 8-8. C takes D. C takes D. Bishop g4. Bishop e2. e6. We've got cooking rooks. Is by himself he's going to have to do this? They're mostly lucky in China. I figured it would carry over to like neighboring countries. If 8-8 is lucky in China, it's probably lucky on the other side of the borders a little bit. But I wasn't sure how far it goes. I don't hang out in the casinos enough. Wow, good job, guys. One player had like a full house on the turn, and the other guy had the nut flush. And this guy had like a pair in his hand with a pair on the board. There was like a pair of 5s on the board. This guy had pocket 8s. There was ace 5-5 something on the turn. The guy was all in on the turn with a pair of 8s. One opponent has a nut flush. The other player has ace 5 full, and the guy hits an 8 on the river and scoops a 3-way pot, like busting 2 players out of the tournament. It was really sick. Then he like donked off all of his chips a little bit later in the night. I managed to outlast him, but not by much. Thanks, Cooking Rooks 777. Cooking Rooks doing it by himself. Received level 1 hype train. Mr. Coffee is a current hype conductor. Did he eat an Oreo cookie? Choo Choo. The Choo Choo Birdie. We were just like, what? The guy with the nut flush made a really bad call. He should have been out of there. Alright, knight c3, a6. This is kind of a weird move. Thank you guys for the hype train support. We got to get back to business though. 10 games to go over. A6. I don't know, man. It just doesn't seem necessary. And this move will weaken black's queenside slightly. It seems like it weakens particularly like c5. So oftentimes if you play a6, you'll have trouble later with a c5. Like this support point is the word I'm trying to think of. It's kind of like an exchange Slav sort of situation. You know, but maybe it's not so easy for white to take advantage of it. But I still don't see why a6 is necessary here. White played b3. I just don't understand why white doesn't freaking castle here. Is he going to lose his central pawn? Alright, here. Yeah, this is totally stupid. He plays b3 and then has to play like bishop e3 to guard his pawn on d4. Since somebody explained to me why we played b3 if we have to play this to like guard our pawn. b3 just creates a little extra weaknesses in the position. The dark squares in the position look weak. This was apparently black's plan. I mean, it's okay. I mean, he wants to play queen b6, I think. It's logical continuation. I just thought that maybe black has something better. You know, like you almost think, oh, well, he might have some tactic. But this. There's no tricky tactics. I mean, to be honest, like black can take here and be slightly better, maybe. That's probably a draw. No. Nope. Nope, nope. I just don't like b3. And now, 3 pawns for a piece. It's the classic. It's like a pizza party. So do we go for the pizza party? 3 pizzas for the price of 1. You gotta think about this seriously. Knight takes e5, pawn takes e5, queen takes e3 check, king h1, and queen takes e5. I don't know. It doesn't seem like the first choice. Do we have anything better? Do we have knight h4? Anybody have a suggestion? Maybe if we only had time to play like f6 and bishop e7 and f6. I'm afraid this is too equal. Bishop a3. Queen d3. It kind of feels like white's hanging on here. We didn't really squeeze as much as we could out of this position. Yeah, the oracle says that white is okay. I feel like black missed some opportunities. It could have squeezed him a little bit more accurately. Like going back here just feels like something like black should have more. The pizza party was interesting. Let's see the evaluation on this. And I'm kind of curious. I don't know. I think I would just cop out and say it's unclear. But it's possibly a problem here with c6. Maybe we're too far behind in development. No, we have bishop d6. I mean, I guess that's part of the calculation. We have this. Stream the game. Yeah, computer doesn't like it. I have this feeling computer doesn't like 2 pieces for rook and pawn. And also don't like 3 pawns for a piece in the middle game. Oh, I didn't see this though. This is a bummer. Check. Check bishop c7 is kind of a bummer. And then g3. So the pizza party is really kind of unclear. You almost have to like bail. But there's probably no way that white's gonna trade queens here. If you could trade queens, you'd be fine. Black is like better, probably. Objectively, I think black is actually better. Anyway, it's something to think about. Maybe black was never really like clearly better. It just looks like these dark squares should be a problem. Now black has the threat of this and this. I guess bishop b4 doesn't do much. Wait, doesn't it though? Did you just miss bishop b4? Man, you have bishop b4 here, don't you? Can I get a game? Analyze? It's a little bit too late. We've got too many games. We're overloaded with games. I've beaten Ferrugia. Nice name, though. Bishop e4. How does white defend against this? Queen d3. Knight takes e5. Knight takes d5. No, then we would have knight takes f3 check. Knight a4, maybe? In any case, I don't like white's position. I think you just missed bishop e4. Submit it early in the week, yeah. So bishop f3, bishop e4, this is too passive. And that's passive too. But I guess the knight's going to have to move. I still think white should like play queen, probably queen d3. This is kind of passive. Wow. That's pretty weird though. I mean, your bishop is trapped out on a3. I don't think I like it. I guess we don't have a choice anymore. So basically, you missed knight b1 and knight e7 is a mistake. Alright. Bishop b4 is a really strong move. Yeah. You just missed this. He never should have played b3, and he burned in the end. But now white is okay. Yeah, it's interesting that maybe white shouldn't even take that bishop, but I guess eventually. What about like takes on b4, takes on b4, rook c4? Man, if this ends up being like knight on b4 and that pawn falls, it's going to be pretty embarrassing for white. What about this allows this? I don't know. Knight c6 looks pretty strong. But taking the file is strong too. You can play here, but then queen f1. Alright. You gotta watch f7. Kind of chronic weakness there. I mean, I don't think this is happening. a3 is hanging. Yeah, you can't hang a3. So why does black exchange there on c1? That was a really bad move. Why not just play knight c6 and threaten to play here? Inflatable Thursday. Guys, thank you for your gift subs. Cooking Rooks, Mr. Coffee with the bit additions. Where is everybody? Only 19 viewers. Bring it on, bro. Game analysis. Knight c6 looks good. The only move that would concern me would be that, and that's no problem. Here, queen a7, at minimum. Black is better. There's a huge problem with that pawn on a2. White's got to figure out how to hit that pawn. Maybe he can like pick it off somehow. Like there, queen c1. It's like maybe white can survive if he's lucky. Picking off that pawn on a3 somehow. Otherwise he's dead. You know, if black wins the pawn on a2, white's dead. But rook takes is a big mistake. This looks kind of awkward. Now our queen has to guard this pawn on a3, and our knight can't get in through to b4. I don't like this. This was a back and forth game. Now suddenly white has rook there. Yeah, I don't know. Boom. We're just picking up the pawns. It looks like black's winning. And then you get in there to c6 and b4. You went for a different plan, but this is very devastating. Like knight c6, king e3, knight here, king d2, knight takes a2, and you just come out, and it's totally like crushing. He stops the pawn, but you have a free for all, and you just like walk in, and there's nothing that white can do. g4, g5, king f6, and e5, and then just come in on the dark squares. So kind of a lucky escape there. Looks like it's over. But that wasn't a clean game. That was Resident Spectator. So Mr. Bites versus Such a Furious Death. This is just a short blitz game. Richie! Rockport is with us. Alright. Mr. Bites versus Such a Furious Death. Just a quick game from the Evil Chess Site by the Spectacular Camel. Bob, what? You haven't what? Acknowledged LGBTQIA plus Pride Month? Nobody told me. I didn't click on Microsoft. I just get like Elizabeth II. Elizabeth II! I didn't know it was Pride Month. I haven't seen any notifications. Nobody told me. Alright. Five Nights at Freddy's just challenged me. Nope. Chica. Alright. Such a Furious Death. So Mr. Bites with knight c3. I think c5 is a good way to handle it, you know, by him. Just go for the Sicilian. Now a3, obviously with the idea of rook b1 and b4. I like how my hand hurts for no reason at all. Am I getting like arthritis or something? Why does my left hand hurt? Great. The arthritis is starting to kick in. d5. I didn't harm my left hand, and it's just like hurting. e4. d4. Maybe it's actually the nerve in my elbow. Alright, it's not my hand. It's not arthritis. It's a nerve issue. I'm putting my elbow on the table again. e4, d4. Yeah, this is weird. So you played a3, basically like giving up a tempo. Black played d5, strong move, and now e4. So a3 is just like playing black with the white pieces, and then you're going to try to get your bishop to c4. d4 here. Yeah, you don't want to go to d5. Here, and then e5. Actually, Cooking Rooks played a game with the structure he showed me this week. Yeah, peripheral neuropathy, whatever. I have like a pillow I have to put my elbow on. I've had this for like 20 years. Too many, sorry Bob, just too many years. My elbows at the chessboard. You're just glad. LBGT. Yeah, whatever. Why am I answering Bob? I don't know. I feel this like I have to answer all these things he says. It's a chess analysis stream, dude. Stop yourself. Okay, I'm going to ignore Bob now. e5. h5. Dude comes up with h5. I was just showing Cooking Rooks today, who had it in a two knights Caro-Kann. This is black's best plan generally against the knight, especially the knight on g3, to attack. Just showed him this. Neon Mask. I was trying to think of a name for Elon Musk, and I finally found it. I had always called him Elon Mask, but I needed like another word for his first name. So we now call him Neon Mask. Knight g3. It just made me think of Neon Mask. Alright. We might have to time you out. I'm just gonna time you out. I'm sorry to have to do this. I think I just timed out Spectacular Camel by accident. You know the rules, Bob. This is a PG-13 stream. We're not gonna do that here. Did I did. Oh shit, I did Spectacular Camel again. I'm terrible with the mouse and the thing scrolling up. I'm sorry, Spectacular. I didn't get Bob? Shit. Thought I got him. I totally missed him. The second time. I tried to like ban Bob and he escaped like punishment. H5. Bob, go sit in the corner and put your dunce hat on. Alright. H5. Cooking rooks must not be here, but this is exactly what I was talking about. Okay, can you play bishop e5? Can we allow h4? Maybe it's okay. You know, the point would be we get the bishop out to b5. I mean, I like the h-pawn. Ponda is big on h4. But you are here, okay. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I had a similar example with cooking rooks today, but it was a little different. Like, White had the ability to put his knight on g5, I think. The bishop was on c4. There was stuff going on with f7. This is a bit different. So, like, h3 looks kind of dangerous here. And I don't think I love, like, this. So it almost looks like we have to take on h3. And our structure's real crappy now. Wow. Yeah, this is seriously bad for White. Very different from example I saw with cooking rooks today. This is a serious problem, dude. So Spectacular Camel, absolutely right. You had to lay down the law here, like I did, with a misbehaving opponent. We had to lay down the law with the timeout. Now our opponent will learn from his mistakes. But Black just totally lost his mind. F5, yeah. Okay. A, it's your good bishop. B, your king is like totally open. And C, I can take it either way. I can just like take with a pawn and hold it with bishop d3. Can you imagine, like, that's a legit possibility. Go here and bishop e4 like a snake Benoni. That's probably not White's best, but I'm just saying. You also have the g5 square. I mean, imagine, like, you take here, Black takes, you take, and he tries to push like e4. I'm a tough guy, you know. You just like kaplank, knight on g5. I mean, dude, Black is just dead here. Black is just dead. You know, he's not doing anything with these central pawns. He's just gonna get destroyed in this position. So I don't know. I think this might even be stronger. As I pointed out to Cooking Rooks, in the case of knight f5, probably Black's best move is g6. Ironically, like just sending you back to g3 with your extra pawn. Yum yum. But Cooking Rooks, sorry, Spectacular Camel took with the pawn. Okay, now this is good, but I think there's a chance he can round it up. So naturally he didn't try to do that, but it looks like Black's only chance is probably knight h6. So my point was, maybe Black can round this pawn up here, and I guess my suggestion would be queen f6. If he just straight up picks the pawn back up, he might almost be okay. Because our queen side is kind of squished in. I still think that White is probably better, but Black might be able to survive. This is a possibility. but it's not going to save that pawn on f5. So let's see what the eval is here. Clearly better for white. I missed that h5 was hanging. Shit. So queen f6, knight takes h5. Okay. It's too many pawns after that. So it just doesn't hold water. I think bishop d3 is good. But he just played knight f6, bishop c4. If e4, you get crushed by knight g5 again. He did it. You did it. He can try knight e5, I guess, for lack of a better suggestion. You have to play knight e5 here. This is chesshell.com. I mean, knight e5 is the only move, but black played queen c7. I mean, what about this not important, like a central pawn? I could just take that pawn, by the way. White has a plethora of good moves. I mean, queen e2, just piling up with another guy. Just take the pawn, or the move in the game may be good. Bishop f7 is okay. Probably black should consider this. Josef Klinger clinging to the pawn. He resigned here, but I don't know why. It's weird to resign suddenly after bishop g6. What is he? He's losing a third pawn on h5? Not necessarily. e4 might be falling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 versus 7. So black is only down one pawn. He's worse, but not that much. Alright, let's try to guess the evaluation of Stockfish here. Black's king is screwed. His bishop on f8 is impossible to get into the game. He's probably losing his central pawn. He's already down a pawn. And, you know, you're pretty close to like completing your development with d3, getting this in the game. Your king can castle kingside, or possibly queenside. No, I think that white has a very large advantage. 2.5. Probably 3. You guys want to go with, I think 3. But everybody else is, yeah, I'm with Spectacular Camel. Plus 3. Everyone else is higher, though. It's like Price is Right. WJ Loof with 3.4. Alright. I'm going to do like they do on the Price is Right. I'm going to do like whatever, one less than WJ Loof. So I'm closer. I'm going to say 3.3. Yeah, $1. No, I'm just under WJ Loof with 3.3. Okay? Let's see. No way! It was there. Oh my god. It went to 3.3 for a second. Who bid $1? Oh my god, it's a 3.1. 3.1. Dude. I take J Loof out by the underbid. That would be like a fun game. Guess the evaluation. You think Camel won? He's got the 3 bid. He was under. Yeah, I overbid. I said 3.3. Camel won. Yeah, you can't go over. It's like the Price is Right. Okay. No, I mean, it's a justifiable resignation, but a bit surprising. Alright, next game is... Welcome, WJ Loof. Next game is just the position. I don't think this was really meant to be on the stream. Alright, let's go on. IVYM. We still have 10 games. You reckon if you let that run for 10 minutes, it will go up and up? It's a safe bet it won't go down. Is Bob out of jail yet? He's getting out like around the same time when Reagan's Assassin will be released. Has anyone seen Hinckley? Bob's getting out with Hinckley. Alright, put the ankle Arsenal, get the ankle monitor ready. We'll put an ankle monitor on him for pornographic content. This is IBYM. E4, C5, knight f3, D6, C3. So, I mean, black basically has to play knight f6 here. It's funny that E5 has the second best score for black here. E5 looks like some kind of weird. It would enter into like a weird declined. It feels like we can end up in a kind of weird mora with E5. But I don't like that. I mean, I always play knight f6 in this position. It's the only good move for black. What other option is there? If you really want to be weird, you know, what would Timur Gareyev play? It's not visible, but I suppose if you really want to be a freak, you could play f5 here. Bob is free. Have you seen John? Getting out on the same day. Actually, he's not been released yet. F5 was played by somebody. So anyway, my point is, like, black's goal should be to put pressure on the e4 pawn. An old mod here would approve that one. So a6 played, but this just looks slow. I mean, black is a bad position after a6. Now f6, f5 is a joke. That's what Timur Gareyev would play. It's like a psycho Colorado Gambit style. Yeah, black's position is dubious. There just aren't any good options other than knight f6. So black played a6 is too slow, d4, and I really know what to suggest here for black. CD, CD, knight f6. Okay, it's like a c3 Sicilian with d6. But a6 is further waste of time. You know, I mean, how many like slow moves can you play on the black side of the c3 Sicilian? You know, like the normal lines are dubious enough, like c3, d6, d4, queen c7, or something freaky like that. I've seen people do this. My friend Salansi Emil used to play this. But imagine, like, you've already played like one super weird move with like queen c7. Now you're gonna do like a6 as well. Like, your black pieces, how many like slow creepy moves can you play? It just doesn't seem right. You know, a6 is dubious enough, but after d4, knight d7, I mean, this is just not a normal opening. I don't know how people can play that. It just looks like bad for black. I guess it's just not that easy to crush it. I wouldn't touch it. There's no way I would play this for black. It's worse than the St. George. He didn't even get like b5 in, you know? It's bad. But he plays c takes d. So, yeah, I don't recommend the Mora, obviously. C takes d, knight f6. This is probably the best try. Knight c3, and now b5. Wow. Well, b5 is an inspired try by the opponent. I bet there's like a million games on lichess. Wow, look at that. 19,511 games where this position has been reached on lichess. That's so sick. And the quality of those games is so high. Black scored 42%. I mean, random is random, right? I guess the more random it is, like, the more we'd approach, like, 50% for each side. I don't know. But I would think, like, white would do a little better than 52%. But they're mostly, like, random bullet games, I guess. But in the real world, Master Chess, only 7 games. V. Sveshnikov. This is a new Sveshnikov. I have no idea if he's related to Yevgeny Sveshnikov. Slim Bouaziz, Leonard Ristich. A couple guys with white, but I mean, nobody with the right mind would play this with black. Okay, B5 is interesting, though. Did I hear a beer? Bear. It was a bear. Cheers. Hopefully this beer can last most of the rest of the stream. Yeah, B5 is interesting because it seems like, well, if white tries to like blow you away with E5, it feels like maybe too over the top. What's the refutation of B5? Right, how to punish B5. You know, I mean, I guess my point is, like, I wonder if B5 is really worse than any other move here at the end of the day. I mean, the normal option would be to play, I think, to play G6. G6, H3, Bishop G7, Bishop D3, Castle. And we're going to, like, pretty soon we're going to transpose to a game I had with Jim. Like, Knight C6, Rook E1, B5 here. Something like this. White's better. What happened? Oh, Premier Chess rating with a party of 1. Sorry guys, I was just too focused on the game. Thanks Premier Chess, check him out. Party of 1. It always reminds me of restaurants. Like going out to dinner when people like raid with less than 10 people. I'm like the host of the restaurant. Thanks for joining us, Premier Chess. Yeah, I mean, this actually becomes like a playable position. But is B5 really worse? Mr. Coffee does a lot of raids of 1. It shows self-confidence. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, so E5, I think, takes. And then if we take with a knight, we're threatening like Queen F3, maybe? It's almost like a Queen D6 Scandinavian, but I doubt that this is good. What you need here, though, is imagination. You know, maybe white has something. Like Bishop B7, Knight takes B5, Pawn takes B5, Bishop takes B5 check, Knight here. Just don't think so. This is not happening. I just don't think it's happening. It's just not enough. Bishop takes, Knight takes D7. There's nothing here. Bishop G5, really? Does it win? We're getting into Benko territory. Bob, good job finding Bishop G5. Queen B3 is not enough, but Bishop G5 looks like a legitimate threat. Oh, we're dropping a piece now to Queen A5 check. Will you guys wake me up, please? Who suggested that? Queen B3 is a good move. Queen B3 defends the bishop and threatens mate, so this is forced. And then Bishop G5. Who's the genius to suggest a Queen B3 check? Uber driver. Stopping the bishop from falling on B5. Now Queen A5 check, King E2. Queen A5 check, King D1. I have a feeling like this is not going to work. But it's certainly like a little bit dodgy. I don't believe this is sound. Wow, it's actually sound. Holy shit. It actually works. Unbelievable. Wow. It actually works. That's pretty cool. Damn, but queen b3 first is even stronger. Damn, this is crazy. Black has to be super careful here. Wow. Rook a7. The Astermate maneuver. This is like a seen sometimes in one variation of the Smith-Morra. This is opening theory. I played it in a tournament. You gotta be like shitting me. Wow. So e5 is actually a strong move. Damn. So this is IBYM submission. This is actually the best. Dynamic dog. Yeah, the only reason it occurred to me was because I noticed parallels with the Queen d6 Scandi in certain variations. But man, you gotta be very precise. Queen b3, e6, then sack. Wow, bishop takes is even good. This doesn't work? Because of bishop d5. Oh my god. So you can play it the other way, though. You can play this way. Black counter sacrifices a pawn back. Man, there's all kinds of interesting stuff. Anyway, alright. We don't have time to go over all of it, but the point is that there had to be an aggressive way for white to play here. And IBYM did the natural thing. They played a3. And it's not bad, but it's not as fun as e5. And black gets a little closer to a reasonable game. I don't know if black has time to play g6, bishop g7. Probably not. I don't really like allowing e5, e6. This is unnecessary and bad. So the only only time when we're playing like h3 is to stop bishop g4 and taking out our control of the d4 square. Or we're trying to put the bishop on e3 and you want to stop knight g4, but it's too early. Why not just castle? Feels like a joke setup. Well, I mean, it is. It's a slow setup by black. It's a inferior line, but it's playable. I wouldn't call it a joke. h3 is too slow, but you're still better. Doesn't seem right. Now it looks like it's gone into almost kind of normal c3 Sicilian like territory after e5. Sex is confusion. That was a Sonic Youth. What's confusion, Bob? Don't start. He just like randomly insert conspiracy theory here. And he's a moderator. What am I gonna do here? No, I saw Arsenal fan. I saw an article the other day about a little girl having to get a liver transplant, and they didn't know what caused. Is that the same thing? At the time, I think they weren't sure what it was. Maybe they just released that. So this little girl in the U.S. somewhere, maybe the Great Lakes, had to get a liver transplant real suddenly. Yeah, jeez. Did I just tell you, did I cash out my strawberry farming stocks? Alright. So e5, yeah, not good. You need to build up here. h3 was a bad move, and e5 just kind of turns it into a normal c3 Sicilian. Is beer safe from hepatitis? That was longer than last week. We went to buy some Skippy, and I knew I didn't want to buy the Jif. WJ Loof. That seems like it's been more than a week ago. It was like a month ago. Time flies when you're having fun. So, alright, knight d5, knight e4. Interesting move, though. I like knight e4. Maybe black should take on e5. It could be a huge mistake, though. That's an interesting question. If black takes on e5, opening the d file, then knight d5, the other option is actually knight d7 going for here. I don't know. You know, I think it's something to think about. Black might be able to improve his play here. This is like robotic. Knight e4 is a good move. Here. Now he takes. But it looks like white has a good game. I'm surprised by knight takes. It's probably not a bad move, though. I was expecting you to take with the pawn to keep that, you know, spatial kind of wedge on the king's side. I'm growing my own tomatoes in the living room. We have like two tomatoes. It's a large harvest. Alright, knight e4, d takes e5. He doesn't have a choice now, though. I mean, I guess the question was to take right away. Takes. This surprises me. I feel like, not so much from the pawn structure perspective, but you have kind of like classic attacking plans here with knight g5, queen e2, rook d1. What's the problem with knight takes? Well, first problem is that maybe like it makes it easier for black to trade pieces. Black has knight c6 here. So I think this is an issue. IQPE now. We don't want to allow trade of pieces. Neon Mask is really into the psychedelics, Bob. You may want to start investing in mushrooms. It's like the cannabis of the future. He went on a rant about how like Wellbutrin is bad for you and you should just like do psychedelics instead. He's like now giving medical advice. Alright. D takes e5, knight takes e5. I don't like it. Knight f6. That's a reasonable move. Also possible is knight to c6. Black's goal now is to trade pieces and reduce white's attacking, you know, chances. And now it's like hopeless. White played rook e1. This is really bad. So IVYM played rook e1 here. I mean, you're in trouble, man. After this, you're letting him trade off all your attacking pieces and you're worse. So I guess the last chance to avoid exchanges, you've got to play either knight g5, knight c5 maybe. We've got to watch this diagonal. Like for example, the bishop takes, pawn takes, queen d5, hitting this pawn, and the mate threat. So I don't know what to recommend. This is a funny move. Funny haha. On the theme of the f3 a8 diagonal, it's possible white has queen f3. Surprisingly, the engine thinks black's better. Why is black better here? Wow. It thinks black's better. Jesus. I have the bishop pair, man. This is just falling and we're suddenly... Wow. Serious? Damn, dude. We're just losing a pawn. Computer doesn't care. Well, anyway. You get the point. Like, you can't allow these exchanges. I guess knight g5. Obviously, you know, this can't be captured because of bishop h7. But this is totally the wrong theme. I would instantly take here. Take. Queen d5. I mean, do you really have an attack on the king side with something like... I don't believe it. You know, rook g4. You're threatening some Vita Levante style stuff here. I don't know, man. It's not enough pieces. I don't believe it's enough pieces. I can't believe it, you know. You gotta be able to take this. Just trade everything. Black has to be okay. Dude, Astrobate's telling you about mushrooms. Black's slightly better. You know, it's interesting. I thought black was definitely better, but it's not that clear. White still has some practical attacking chances. I guess I would pick black. So I don't really like rook e1. It's not as bad as I thought. Black plays knight on bd7. Again, you have to try to avoid exchanges here. So that's the main concept. Black could sack the exchange. Knight f4. Bring it on. No, I'm getting carried away now. All right, I just wanted to check. The ambulance. I've seen this somewhere recently. I'm not a big fan of IQPs with bishop on e5, but it's actually pretty solid. f6 will be necessary. White has the support point on c5. Oh shit, he played that what? The what? The what just happened? Huh? My name is who? White went crazy. So you have to play the bishop g3 or bishop h2. We want to be a little cautious about bishop g3 because it might get attacked by this pawn. Say f5, knight c5, take, f4, ramming the pawn in. But the problem is, like, it's a tough judgment because if you put it on h2, you can get back rank mated sometimes. The wonders of the London system. Right. I said that about Zuckertort. But no, I mean, it's okay. It's inducing a weakness in the black king side that I don't understand. I mean, white just like sacrificed a piece. This can't possibly work. This doesn't work. What am I missing here? I am not on board with this attack. Speaking of psilocybin, can somebody explain to me how this works? There's an attack here? No, that does not work. I'm sorry. This does not work. Yeah, you can't do this. This is crazy. Black just like didn't take the bishop on e5. And now he's like worse. Surprise, surprise. Man, that was like a magic trick by white. How did he do that? He used his mind powers. It was like Jedi mind tricks to get the opponent not to take the free piece on e5. And after that, it was all okay. Queen h4, knight f6. Still, there's some... Yeah, this is a good move. f3. And now you're better. You have a huge protected passer. Your bishop is active. You can play for g4. He has weaknesses on the dark squares. You might be able to break with a4. The only thing he can try is maybe knight e8 to unplug that bishop. Yeah, I think this is a mistake. I mean, you got to try to break with a4 at a later date, maybe. But I think you have to mix. It's not easy to break through. You'll have to use g4, a4, every kind of, idea to try to break his fortress down. I don't think rook c1 is going to matter. Yeah, I mean, he's going to commit suicide if he plays g5. Yeah. Black's only chance is to just sit tight and pray. It's basically like the Republican strategy on guns. Black's best hope is prayers and thoughts in this position. I mean, there's nothing they can do. g5, queen d4, rook g6, bishop e5. Now he's like toast on the dark squares. Dude, I'm sure that's very common, Bob. I think even with weed. If you're predisposed to develop an anxiety disorder, it probably only takes a very small trigger. I mean, it's not that necessarily like taking acid made him have anxiety disorder. Probably it's a combination of factors, like he was genetically predisposed to it. It just doesn't happen to everybody who takes drugs. They automatically might just start going crazy or something. If you have a genetic predisposition to a condition, it's just something will trigger it along the line. If it wasn't that, it might have been a traumatic incident or something. Yeah, these bishops are nice. Phew. Alright. Yeah. This is getting a little out of control now. So, I'm not okay with bishop takes f3. We cannot take it. Black is basically melting down our king position here. Taking is bad. We're probably like lost, mated. And bishop takes g2 is a serious threat. So you have to act now. Bishop takes f5. Is this good enough? Okay, rook takes. I was missing something. I must be missing something. Dude, what? White wins on time! Oh my god. Dude, queen takes e6 check, white wins on time. Are you serious? I knew I was missing something. There it is. I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, this is almost working. I just don't see it. Is it a queen sack? It's queen takes e6 check, win out of time. Damn. Rook takes f3. Rook takes e5, rook takes e5, and you have... Actually, bishop takes e5. Holy shit. But it's not easy. Wow. So bishop takes e5, bishop takes f5 is not the answer. I mean, white had way more time here. I was like, well, yeah, bishop takes f5, okay, and then what? There is no end what. There is no move. Well, I like it, it's nice that people are submitting games that aren't necessarily like, this is my brilliancy, look how great I played, I view YM played a game, he didn't play perfectly, but submitted the game anyway. I'm going over this tournament for Chess Lecture 1909 St. Petersburg, and it's the same kind of thing. Like I'm going over games. Uber driver probably appreciate this. The last one I did was like Lasker versus Duras, and it wasn't a perfect game. Like both sides made tons of mistakes, but it's nice. It's nice to not always just like, oh, here's a perfect game. All games are perfect games, you know. So, yeah, white just like went crazy in his opponent's time pressure. Okay, anyway, we're moving on. Sumaher, and then we got to do Morales at some point. Sumaher is white. He's beaten me a couple times, getting lucky lately. Uber, you lie. You haven't played a good game in months. The Nimzo. Nice. Okay. Sumaher is like the world's leading expert in our stream on the Queen C2 Nimzo. His opponent played C5. Now, I've given Sumaher a lot of practice because I played the Nimzo against him like 50 times. I've played every variation I could think of, you know, so he's had tons of experience here. Thanks, IBYM. You had a good position. Had a lot of points in that game. But it was never easy. We spent a good amount of time on that game. Anyway, d takes c5. Okay. And now, I'm going to turn the engine off, because I really don't want to be biased by it. Black played a move I've never seen anyone play. Queen a5. I've seen it in other variations. I've seen Queen a5, like, after, I guess, Knight a6, a3. I had this one game with Grandmaster, what's his name? Man, I'm losing it. Everything like pre-2005 is starting to like, it's starting to fall into the like brain cavity, the memory cavity. Gregory Serper. I had this game where I did Queen a5, I think in this position, and I ended up with my knight on b7, okay? I just don't think it was the exact position, but something similar. Like it ended up going like there and there. And I just want to tell you that you just really don't want your knight on b7, was my takeaway. Playing the black side of the Nimzo, we want to try to avoid like playing the hedgehog with our knight on b7. I drew the game, but it wasn't fun, you know. Alright, I think it was like 1999 US Masters. I won the prize for like under 2,400 at the time. Fianchettoed knight, exactly. It's always bad. Queen a5 though, it doesn't look right. That's not right. So 45 out of 45 strong players say bishop d2. I mean, I think the thing is here, if it were black to move, what is black's best move? Probably knight e4. Like, I guess if it were black to move, knight e4, queen e4, bishop takes c3 check, king d1, something like that. Well, actually, white, you know, if black to move, we don't take it. We would play bishop d2. We would be worse. So I'm just saying, if you play like knight f3, black has this move, right? Theoretically. Is it good, though? Probably not. This is not good, because now white is better. No, black will, if you play knight f3, black will not play knight e4. He'll play another move, developing. Probably bishop takes c3. But yeah, well, what else is there? Knight f3. I'm just gonna go on a limb here and say I'm a little surprised that like at least one player out of 45 didn't play knight f3. Just to show what like anal retentive robots everyone are, you know. This is not that bad. Bishop c3. Oh my god, it's isolated pawns. Oh no. It's the end of the world, you know. Seriously, this is a kind of interesting position. White has the possibility of like putting the bishop in here. White is better according to the computer, but people they're like, oh no, my hands might get dirty if I get isolated pawns. My God, we could never consider that. We have to robotically play bishop d2. Jeffrey Zhang versus Rapport. I can't believe this is a variation. What is this? This is an actual variation people are playing. Damn, dude. Rapport actually played this. Yeah, he's crazy. Seriously, only Rapport would play this, right? Luis Gallego played it a bunch of times, but nobody big. Only Rapport is crazy enough to do this. He drew with Jeff Zhang. Damn ass! Oh man, Arsenal. I love it. F3. Great idea. Great question. Why not F3? Well, to be honest with you, Arsenal fan, it's probably in like the top 5 moves for white, objectively, or close. Let's say F3 is probably like top 10. I mean, our setup's a little slow. Queen c2 and f3. Let's put it this way. When you play white against an Nimzo, Queen c2 and f3 are basically like the 2 most aggressive variations. But in both cases, white has to be really freaking careful that he doesn't get his ass handed to him with his king in the middle of the board and not escaping. You know, my number one plan would be to like outstrip white in development somehow, you know, and kill him in his bed while his king is not you know, getting out of the center. So both f3 and queen c2 have that tendency where it's like sometimes white has a trouble with the development. If you play both of those moves in the same, you know, opening, it's really slow, you know. So here it's like Luxuryville. I'm gonna play queen c2 and then the f3 Nimzo as well, you know, with f3. Okay, it's playable. But anyway, it's probably not best. Bishop d2, knight a6. So interestingly, queen takes c5 was played by Rapport. This queen looks sketch. Yeah, it's some weird variation that Rapport cooked up to take people out of book. Yeah, knight h5 sucks, Uber driver. Raymond Keane sucks. Alright, I don't know. He doesn't suck, but he's basically a glorified wannabe. I think, you know, for Grandmasters, Keane is not a major role model. I don't think knight h5 is a move that you recommend. I played it and I lost with it, and it sucks. Alright. Queen takes c5, knight a6 now. The thing about it is, like, this bishop on d2 is really lame. e3. So at some point, we're going to play a3. Another variation that crops up sometimes is like g3. Why did we drop off the theoretical planet here? Okay, white's supposed to play a3 right away. You know, it's funny, like, there's actually variations where white would sack this rook on a1, sack the exchange. Like, it happens in the Winnower too, where you're taking on b4 and you're sacking the rook on a1, but you like can't do it because your bishop's on d2. I guess the main thing will be like white will be threatening either after castles or moving the rook next move. Kramnik Kampora 1998. Black has to play knight takes c5. Yeah, and so we move the rook. Castle's queenside is too risky, according to statistics. Kramnik actually did that. It does look risky. So maybe this is kind of how I... Like, this is how I got the game against Serper, where my knight was on b7. Was it like this? It was rook c1 or something? Bishop takes c3. Bishop takes c3, bishop takes c3, queen a4. And somehow or other, my knight ended up on b7. Don't play this, because I've played it and it sucks. How did my knight end up on b7, though? It had to be like a very slightly different position. Or at time. You know, like knight f3 and b6 are in. And then it was like that. I ended up in this type of ending where my knight went back there. That's ugly. You know, you really don't want to end up with your knight on b7. Oftentimes it goes to a4, though. This is like a known idea. Knight a4. And this variation is maybe not that bad. I don't know. What did Yasser do? Well, Sarawan was white. He didn't find bishop d4. Yeah, no, Miles coined the Irish pawns because he had a game with it. Knight a6, knight f3. It was an Irish opponent. Man, Sumaher now went nuts with g4. Percy Hepworth, welcome. Yeah, so, okay. a3 is the theoretical move. Knight f3 is okay. Knight takes c5, and then g4. So this is a new move. Very interesting. I should note that this is a pretty common idea. I mean, Bereyev did it all the time. White's often going to castle queenside, and taking the pawn is dangerous. You got this bayonet attack here. If we take on g7, we're both going to lose the g-pawns. But it's a very usual idea. I had this where I did this against Hurtan once, and he just like castled. And I did like g5, and I went ballistic, and I just lost. It wasn't a Nimzo. It was a Bogo, but a very similar idea I tried. Basically, Charlie just did this, and then when I tried to go crazy, he just like went back to e8. And, you know, White's position is... It's possible to attack like a maniac, but it's not guaranteed. It's not like guaranteed that White is crushing Black here by any means, you know. So maybe the calm reaction is to just castle. Is this so bad? Why is this so bad? g5, knight e8. I can't believe the engine is saying this is like more than +1 for White. It's kind of calming down now. I'm not sure it's that easy for White to conduct like a devastating attack in this position is what I'm saying, you know. Alright. Black just voluntarily took on c3. And then played queen c7. So he basically doesn't know what the bleep he's doing. And then, yeah, and then here. Because now it's like too late to do this. I mean, b3. It doesn't make sense to voluntarily exchange your bishop on c3. Why would you do that? I would rather do like knight takes g4, rook g1, knight h6. Rook takes g7, knight f5 or something. To be perfectly honest. This probably isn't good either, though. I think that's better for White. Right, so he's banking on 94, but I mean g7 is hanging. So Sumaher does like b3 or b4. Knight ce4. So this is the key move, g5. You can't just like hang your G pawn. Yeah. But I don't get this now. I feel like you're kind of obliged to take this. Why not take it? Rook G8. I don't care if he gets that pawn back. I'm not gonna put my bishop on H6. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna give you the pawn. And you know, whatever, dude. Like, black's toast here. This is not okay. You know, like white's gonna castle probably. The H7's hanging, and the black king is not safe, and his development is bad. So yeah, now Uber's knight H5 is probably okay. I agree. I mean, I think like now, I don't really want to drop that pawn, and you're threatening knight F4, so it would have to be E3. The knight is off sides, but that's not the knight H5 Uber was talking about. He was talking about against F3. It's a specific like variation. So here, I'm surprised he didn't take. I mean, basically, I don't get it. You know, Sumer sort of forced black to gain a move with D6, and this is just greedy. But okay, it's an option. He was greedy. I mean, to be honest, I guess like the simplest move is bishop c3. I think black is lost here. Yeah, even f6 is good. But I don't want to give that up, dude. Screw giving that up. I mean, let's just play bishop here. This is there a problem here with this and knight e4 maybe? It's a problem, I guess, with this pawn, like losing that. So let's not give it up. We'll play bishop d4, then e5, then bishop e3, then like check. We can play knight d2 if we have to, or bishop d2 if we have to. Take. It's like, oh my god, black might be able to somehow escape, you know, by a miracle. He just barely manages to save himself, but bank, rook g1, and you lose a piece. So like that variation, it's like, oh my god, I'm losing a piece now at the end with rook g1 and h4. Maybe. But it would require a lot of calculation, but I just don't trust black's position. So I don't like this bishop on h6. It's probably good enough, but it looks kind of out of play to me. This was a blitz game, by the way. So he doesn't take on g5, obviously, for the obvious reasons. That's kind of funny, though. Could you take it? You could actually take it. And if rook g1, you play rook g6. And if bishop takes g5, you play h6 or f6, probably h6. But white, I guess white emerges at the end of the day with an extra pawn, which is probably significant. Okay, here. It was a good battle. The quality of play for this game was decent for a blitz game. But finally that knight on h6, the bishop on h6. I think that black should take it. He took the exchange instead. This might have been a mistake. Now he's like tied up. Greedy. You were greedy, you shouldn't have taken the exchange. People are so materialistic. And now h4, no. Not h4. I think it's probably necessary to play bishop g7. I don't see what h4 really does. Damn. Anyway, it's Sumaher with his bullet games again. Quality of the game here sort of went down the window. Down the window. Down the toilet. Anyway. He got his pass pawn rolling. He got lucky. But the quality there wasn't a quality finish. Like this was bullet chess garbage at the end. But it was a good game before that, you know. It degenerated into silliness at the end. All right, let's do Mule Skinner. Welcome, guys. Thank you very much for the hype train. Appreciate it. We got some support for the month of June. That was an interesting game, though. Sumaher handles the opening pretty well. Mule Skinner. Where is Mule Skinner? Guys, I haven't been checking the chat, trying to get focused on these games. So let me know if something important came up. Mr. Coffee, make a donation or something if an important chat comes through. Another time trouble panic loss. I've been seeing a lot of this lately. Over the board 90 plus 30 play last Sunday. Game 1 and I am black. Alright. Disaster number 1 and disaster number 2. This is great. It's always the French defense. Long live the French defense. Maybe try Queen h4. One of Asturbate's opponents played that against him. What is that called? Does that have a name? You're on break. Uh-oh. Now. Coffee variation. I was looking at this with another student who hasn't been around in a while. You know, it's weird that, like, this isn't that bad for black. After a CD, we were looking at this. Knight c3 seems to be the best move. Uber driver, I would expect you to know. Knight f5, and then a3. But, like, white has to be extremely precise here to punish, like, this move order. And I'm not sure, even at the end of the day, like, how bad this really is for black. Like, it's supposed to be, like, a bad move order, and white's advantage is 0.3. Like, BFD, you know, it's really not that bad. Bishop d7, h4. And white, like, clings to a very slight advantage. Yeah, but it's bad. Yeah, but it's bad? How bad? It's not that bad. Bishop e7. Let's see. h5. Maybe this is bad. But black, okay. Yeah, I guess I don't like this. We have to find something else after h4. Yeah, h4 is a key move. Okay, this is inaccurate. But again, white has to know exactly that refutation. a3 is a really important move. Anyway, alright, knight on gd7. And now I'm completely out of my book. I have no freaking idea where we are now. Okay, a3. You better call Bill Kelleher, Uber driver. That was his specialty. Playing the white side of the advanced French. Who did he used to play? Like, Adrian Casillas. They had, like, millions of blitz games where Adrian would play the c4 type of lines. This has a really good score for black. But, I mean, I wouldn't intuitively know that. Knight f5 is the secret move. Yeah, Uber Driver's still in 1972. Don't mind him. He was stuck in a time machine. He stopped studying chess in 1972. BU 1990. BU 1986? Is that what you said? I'm like class of 95. This looks reasonable for black. 1990? What the fuck? Dude, I was at BU in 1990. How can you be BU 1990? You graduated in 90 before I went in? Are you serious? You graduated the spring before I started at BU? We had the same Russian teacher. That's fucked up. I never knew that. That's insane. Belazersky. No, I had like 3 different Russian teachers. No, 2. I don't remember the one. She was always drunk and she would like, not drunk, but she would always like come in with a hangover. I had this really cool Russian teacher for like my first 2 or 3 semesters. She would always come into class with like her sunglasses on. You could tell like she was just nursing a hangover. I don't remember her name. But she was really relaxed. Alright, anyway, back to focus time here. C4. Okay, I know this variation, like, when you do knight f3, queen b6, a3, c4. Like, I know this is, like, Ullmann's thing. But what I don't understand is the difference here. Knight on g to e7, a3, now c4. How much difference does this mean? Like, how different is this difference? How different is this from the immediate queen b6 lines? One thing is that the queen is not on b6, like, obstructing this pawn. If you want to play like Adrian Casillas or something, who was obsessed with like playing b5 in the French and sacking the exchange. It's hard to believe that someone can be a master and all they do is like not castle, play b5 and like sack the exchange every game. Bishop d7. Alright, so c4, knight on bd2, knight a5. Yeah, I mean, this isn't my thing. I also don't like playing the King's Indian because it's so closed. It's like extremely closed. When I get to the position where it's so closed that there's not a lot of plans, I start to have the feeling like the game is playing me. I'm not playing chess anymore. When he plays b4, look at this, no games. Yeah, this is kind of experimental. Why is c takes d4 bad? We transpose back into the other variation. Look, bang, 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 knight c3. No. Yeah. So this kind of transposes back into the other line. That's why black has to be careful. To play knight f5 right away. Oh, okay, I remember this. I remember this position because Kosic, my friend Dragon, who's plays for Montenegro, he had a game against this like Turkish grandmaster in the first Saturday one time with this variation. Dragon played black and white played like b4, and so there's something with takes, queen b6, bishop b2, and then it's like knight a5 at some point. But you can't play it right away. First you have to play bishop d7. So this is like Hasna Daraglu versus Kosic. I remember that. I don't know if the game's in the list here. But I mean, I had the feeling it was like a really main line. And then Dragon like lost it somehow, I think. But he had a good game. It looks good for black. What is the evaluation? Yeah, I think like this is one of the best lines. No, it's not so good for white. Look at the statistics. It's actually like positive score. The thing is, like, there's knight a5 because the bishop on b2 is not protected. Black can get his knight into a5 and into c4. I don't remember what happened in that particular game, but this is the way that black needs to play it. He has to play knight f5. I don't like... You know, I appreciate Richie trying to simplify it, but it's not that simple. I mean, I don't know. This is pretty weird. But I understand why black might want to play c4. This is interesting. What about b3? If you try to do it right away. Takes. Knight on bd2. Branimir. I beat Branimir. In Belgrade. My one what is a Serbian tournament. I wonder if he's still kicking around. Knight on bd2. So basically, Uber Driver's saying, like, if you don't do this, like, black will eventually, like, get in here. Uber Driver, your opinion is, like, bishop d7 first. Bunzman did it. Gave us a French defense, English defense guy. Very good positional player. Student of Kalinichev. I lost this guy a couple times. Drew him once. I think I was a half point out of 3. Bishop d7. With the idea of that coming in later. b3. I mean, you may be thinking of like a slightly different position. Did you see that Konstantin Serotonin? What's your opponent's name? Constant Serotonin. I don't know, it sounds like someone Bob would like. He's a stimulating opponent. But, jokes aside, folks. Big Mike. Big Michael Adams. Guys, check out the score here for black. 3 out of 4. No losses. But black was the higher rated player in every single game. I mean, maybe that tells you something. You guys got in a game? Some of you guys were playing a game while I was... Asri singing The Clash. You guys aren't supposed to be playing games during analysis stream. What is this? Like a hot tub stream? Hot tubs, beaches, and bikinis. That's a category, right? I don't like what white did with the place. This is like awful for white. He totally made Uber Driver's like lifetime. White played directly into like the classic positional plan where he just has like weak kind of backward C file. Man, this is unbelievable. And now, for our next move, Queen A6. Uber Driver 1, opponent 0. But the problem is he comes up with a good plan now to play that, Knight E2, and like defend his D pawn and make it, I don't know, make it work somehow. This is Muleskinner's game with black. He's a French aficionado. But, I mean, black's got to be good here. No, in the truth, though, at the end of the day, it's like a wing gambit or something, like a wing gambit Sicilian. He does have the strong d4. Is that enough to save his ass in this position, really? It's hard for black to put more pressure on white's position, you know? But I think that Uber Driver, what do you think about h5, Holmes? I think we should talk to Bob about this position. Maybe h5's on the horizon. Like, do we play knight f5 and oh, you're going over there. I was thinking like knight f5, hitting d4, knight e2, then we stop g4 by playing h5. The knight at f5, you know, keeps him honest by keeping pressure here. And I think that we can slowly squeeze white. Rook c4, bishop e7. I had a game with Mule Skinner myself in something similar. Yeah, Chemical Shirt, what do you think? You're a positional player. This looks really good for black. The guy had to play knight g1, but I mean, it's still not that easy to like put white away here. The question is like, what's the, you know, how do you like beat white here after knight g1? I think this is an important moment. Knight c6 is fine. It's a very like, you know, direct plan, but I don't know, man. I mean, I kind of feel like I like knight f5 better. So let's see what Oracle says. It's torn. Even the Oracle is torn. Oh my god, it's like, any side bets on knight c6 or knight f5? My god. They're both good. Now it's even coming up with rook c4. Rook c4 is awkward. I'm not playing that. I don't like rook c4. I would play this. Knight e2. Oh no! Oh my god. Tactic Master. I didn't see it. You guys should have seen it too. Queen takes c2 check. Now we're really setting up for the next game. Damn. I totally missed that. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh my god. After knight f5, white has to play knight f3. That is embarrassing, dude. Knight g1 so you can go back and play knight f3. Because knight e2, he totally would have walked into it. You know he would have walked into it. Smack! How bad is it? King takes, check, cd4, rook takes c2. I mean, it's a clear pawn down. He has this, trying to get quick counterplay, and b6 allows a4. So Mule Skinner would have to be on his A game. You have to find rook c7 or you're screwed. You literally have to find the only move very accurate. If you play b6, white has enough comp. Not creating any weaknesses in the position. He's 16-17, give him a break. He never would have seen the queen takes c2 check. I didn't see it after like 45 seconds. He definitely wouldn't have seen it. Alright, knight c6, knight e2. As I said, he wouldn't have seen it. That's beautiful. Let me guess, like you missed a4. Oh, he did it this way. Oh my god. Wow. My god, you lost this position? How can you possibly lose this position? This position you could possibly lose. Like, we looked at this. Takes here. Actually, no. Takes, rook b1. I could see, like, losing this position. Because white suddenly has threats, you know, with a5 and filtering in. That I could see. Even this is not easy to lose. Like here, here, you know, I don't know, bishop d8, and oh man, he's got a tactic. Shit. Yeah, see? You could lose this. Alright. But Muleskinner's opponent, like, didn't even find the best move. He did that. So now he's not only down a pawn, but he has, like, the broken structure. Rubinstein, no wonder this game is called a disaster. Yeah. A draw would be a disaster. Alright. That's like the time that I like drew Andrew Karklin's up 2 pawns at the US Open. And after the game I was like, you should be ashamed of yourself. He was like, no, you should be ashamed of yourself. But I mean, that's a disaster. Like, drawing this is a disaster. But I drew Karklin's like 2 pawns. But to lose it, you can't lose this position with black. I mean, you're up a pawn, his structure's ruined. He has, you know, a bad bishop. I can't imagine how you could possibly lose. But honestly, like, even the first move I don't really love. You know, like, bishop c5, because you're blocking your own rook there. You know, this is actually a better square for the bishop. Maybe he had a concrete plan. You know, maybe like bishop c5, bishop b6, but I don't really like it. I feel like you're interfering with your own rook by putting the bishop on c5. I mean, one of your top plans is probably to like invade with your rook at c4 here. But the number one problem is, like, if you're induced to play b6, maybe this is why he played it, it would reinforce b6, but is it necessary right away? So like bishop e7, let's say here, b6, a4, maybe he's right. Actually, we end up having to do bishop c5 later. I don't want to do it, though. I mean, the other move is like king d7. Is there any way we can avoid that? Even king c7, I mean, this is hardcore. This is like really hardcore to do like king c7 just so I don't have to play b6. And what am I going to do? Like king b8? It's pretty awkward, man. That's seriously a move. Like a4, king b8. That's like Tivyakov, Nimzo style. Hardcore maneuvering. Just so I don't have to play b6 and move my pawns, I'm going to put my king on b8. Planning. Like advanced planning, you know, level 3. That's pretty hardcore. So white plays f3. It's okay. And now you castled. I'll kill myself if I castle in this position. Muleskinner's too good to castle in this position. No. This is your yeah, you're demoted. You're demoted to plebe stream level for playing castles. No longer you're no longer an honorary master after you castle here. You can't do that. It's just, you have to play king d7 at some point. It's an endgame. Of course, you know, white could like theoretically play c4. Is he gonna like play c4 into your rook? By the way, like white, like the computer says, should play f4. But I understand, I think, you learned how to get mated on b8 by Tivyakov. Great Nimzo player. But, yeah. Then he puts all his pawns on the wrong color. You want to play king d3, bishop e3, and try to trade bishops, and you're totally lost. Yeah. It's a good exchange, and then you're completely lost. That's how bad White's position is. If you make a good exchange like this, a good strategic exchange, then you're just totally lost. But you're lost anyway. His only chance is like induce black to play b6 and break it open with a4, a5. Other than that, like White is totally toast here. But castles is a horrible move. This is okay. He induces b6 anyway, so there it is. And now, yeah, now your king is like 3 moves away from the center, if necessary. But you might start considering extreme chess moves like f6. I think like once you've committed to this castle stuff, like you might as well go down a completely different path now. I say undermine his center and start playing in over here. That's probably the best. The end just says h5. I'm not sure about that in this position. I would play f6. He plays that. That's a pretty sweet move. Maybe the worst move I ever saw. I don't know, man. Seriously. Maybe I'm getting drunk after this beer, but is that like one of the stupidest moves you've ever seen, or what? Like rook b3? Because it has so much mobility laterally, I'm going to put it on b3. It's like, okay. I guess he's relieving, maybe he's doing the move 11, it's the move 11 plan to play bishop e3, but you're totally lost. Yeah. He's doing your thing. He wants to trade the bishop off. You gotta play a4, man. I mean, it's obvious, of course. Any 3-year-old can see you have to play a4 here. And it's your only hope. He plays rook b3, okay. So how about f6? We change the dynamic. Here comes a5, dude. You knew it was coming. I'm surprised I'm surprised he didn't play bishop d8. You could try to scare White out of playing a5. Maybe he should play it anyway, I don't know. It's probably not that stupid. Now you played f6, alright. Good job. Finding counterplay. Here. You're gonna have to take... I mean, I'm not sure that black is winning anymore. Takes, bishop f6, rook f6, a5. And the good king might save White, you know, even though he's like down a pawn and an ending. Thanks to you putting your king over on g8. The knight should be sitting on c4. What knight? Alright. Yeah. Maybe bishop d8 would come in handy now. He plays it soon. Here. Oh. And this is a defensive move. Alright. Well, black has no losing chances. Famous last words. Rook b3 wasn't so bad now. Yeah, it's great. I'm really excited about it. Is White lost after, like, bishop... objectively, after bishop c7 here? I wonder? No. That drops a rook. Never mind. Rook c4. Rook c4, bishop g3. Or g3, but probably bishop g3. Do you have d4? This is looking really, really scary for White. Phew. I mean, you're threatening d4, seriously. Now you, like, shifted to an attack against his king. What is he going to do on rook c4? Yeah, black is lost after dropping a rook. It looks like maybe he's just completely lost now. After rook c4. Ironically, you know, you're trying to, like, not trade off this pawn. I think White is toast. Like, d4 is game over. I don't see him defending it. So let's say bishop g3, d4. How the heck do you save this? I mean, I can't believe that white can survive here. He's getting destroyed on c3. If he takes, he's unleashed like the demon of hell. So what do you suggest? Like, okay, rook a3, anybody? That looks like a good try. And then it's just totally over. Just trade everything. With the a pawn, you should be winning. I mean, this is probably, there was probably better, but just saying. Like, I don't think that white can save this position. Even this is winning. It's over. So rook c4 just wins. h5 is like Bob's school. Bob in the house. h5 is not a bad move in and of itself, I guess, but you know, you want to take advantage of this opportunity. He gained the tempo, a pretty big one. Objectively, black's still winning. King f7 is not a bad move here. Looks like white knows something. Still rook c4, you found it, but it's not as powerful as it once was. It's still strong though. It's funny, that's a good move. Like, he's still alive after rook a3. The d4 notably isn't playable anymore. Bob's only getting out when Reagan's like assassin gets out. King g6. Black lost this. Oh my god, he just put all of his pawns on dark squares to f4. So basically, alright, at this point you could like troll white. If you want to troll white, now you do rook takes rook, and then rook c4. And I think if he doesn't take, because this, now maybe this is dangerous actually. Yeah, damn it. Maybe we're still winning. Let's see. Takes here. King d4. It's a little too close for comfort. Damn it. I wanted rook c4 to work. Doesn't work, does it? Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Almost works. Okay, so f4. No reason to play rook takes rook though. Man, look at those pawns. But you gave him protected passer on the other side. Oh man. Yeah, that was risky. A slightly risky decision. The ambulance is on its way. So e4 check. You know, whatever. I think you're rolling with the central, you know, connectors. You're winning here. But there might be like some weird complication. I don't know. It's still not enough for white to save the game. But now you started to play hesitantly. Bishop c5. Bishop c5 interferes with the rooks. I don't like it. Yeah, just e4, man, and just roll the central pawns. This is a weird move. But e4 is good. I don't like trading the rooks, but alright. Again, like, you really want to roll here, no? I would rather have both sets of rooks. Yeah, I don't like this. This is creeping me out. It's creeping me out. I feel weird about this position now. This pawn is a little scary. My gosh. The last... I can't believe it. He's okay here. Damn. Now you just have to take it, but you didn't. I don't know if you're winning, though, after King G7. Maybe you blew a win. Maybe it's a draw somehow. If these pawns fall, obviously. Maybe King H7 is okay, but I want to get rid of that pawn if I can. Rook takes check. King somewhere. We're still probably winning because we're 2 pawns up. But he played this. Don't want that pawn to stay on the board. Oh my god. You might want to seriously consider sacking the exchange. Although that might lose the game. That's how he ended up losing the game. Is it really too late? Like we're losing now. Are we losing? Rook d6? Or maybe losing. I have a bad feeling about this. I don't think that we're going to save the game now by sacking the exchange. I think it's a big problem. You have to take here on g7. This doesn't help. You just panicked and then sack the exchange. And you're just lost. Panic is right, but I mean this is the critical position. Here, check. You have to play King G7. King H7 is only a draw. Actually, how do you draw though? You know, it's not that easy. The question is, like, after this blunder, how does white, you know, how does black draw? Rook takes e6. Because you can't sack the exchange here. Is bishop c7? I was just wondering if this would be enough. But apparently it's not. All white needs is like 1 pawn. One pawn is enough. We have to get rid of the g7 pawn. I don't know how to do it. The computer find how to do it. It do like here, do here, and do here, and then we do here, and we make draw. But you play like this lose game. Man, that's sick. What are you talking about, dude? You ready to get banned again? Let's get banned. Alright, 28. Guys, it's late already, 9:20. Disaster number 2. Get banned, bro. Bannable Bob offense. The offensive. What am I doing? Puzzles, learn. Study. Cobbler. Fish cobbler. Do cobblers have to be like sweet, or can they be sour? What is a cobbler? Is cobbler like the form? I've never heard of a sour cobbler. Can there be sour cobblers? So cobblers are necessarily fruit based. You can't have savory cobblers. All right, learn, study. My studies. It's been a long day. Thursdays are very long. Crumble. Alright, how many games we have left here? Uber Driver versus Mirales, Acerbate, and Cooking Rooks. That better be the end of the list. Testosterone is just optional for next week. I don't think I'm going to make it, man. I got 1, 2, 3 games to go. Okay, Uber Driver Mirales. We did Acerbate's game, right? Jesus Christ, we didn't do Acerbate's game? No, that comes after. Yeah, Morales, I'm so used to Acerbate being in the beginning. You were late this week. Alright, good cobblers. Morales. Gotta learn your lesson. Morales with black against the Uber driver. Okay, actually, it's funny because Uber driver plays Petrov, right? Uber driver played the Petrov against Move 11 in the tournament. You started the hype train? Oh no. For Turkey's game? I could speedrun Cooking Rook. Alright. So this is funny. Actually, maybe unlucky choice by Morales, who happened to play the Petrov against Uber driver, who played the black side of this position, you know, against Move 11 in the same tournament. Sometimes we do that. We accidentally, like, pick something that's a bad choice because the opponent plays it themselves. Yeah, I think the time controls should be bigger, Arsenal. I have a problem with this, actually, on lichess. Think about it logically. Do you guys agree with me? I mean, I'm sorry, are those clock sizes too small? Can you make the clock a little bit bigger? I mean, seriously, it's like microscopic. Can you get me my... Can somebody please get me, like, a telescope or something? I can't see the time, man. It's, like, microscopic. Look how important the clock is. There it is. I can't even see it. Yeah, Arsenal's right. We should make the clocks bigger. And that will make longer time controls, like, more respectable. If clocks are bigger, people would have more respect for longer time controls. I don't even, like, pay attention to the time control because I can't even see the freaking clock, dude. It's, like, microscopic. 1454. Alright. Can we change the clock size? I want a big clock. Like those giant... I have a phone. I don't know why I got this phone. But you know, like for, I never showed this on the stream before. But you know the like phones you get for people that are like, they can't see? Like, that's a freaking phone, okay? You can see the numbers, right? Those are numbers. Look at the clock, dude. Why is the clock so small? I don't know. It was like the only one I could find that was available. Alright. Landlines are hard to come by. Supply chain shortage. I don't remember how I ended up with that phone. But anyway, there was a reason for it. Bishop d3, d5. Where are we again? So, Bishop d3 was played. Yeah, actually, Morales is lucky he didn't play the Uber driver variation with pawn takes pawn. Uber driver's still back in like 1990. Graduating from college. So knight takes c4 main line, bishop d3, d5, knight takes c5. Oh my god. It's a carrot top prop, really? Dude. Morales, what are you doing? What is knight c6? I thought Morales was an expert in every variation. You're supposed to play either knight d7 or bishop d6, right? I didn't know this is even a move here. He's back with they're back in 1972. Or 1990 or something. What is that? You can do that? Like, if knight c6 was good, why the heck would everybody play knight d7? Like, seriously. Why would Kramnik play knight d7 if knight c6 was a good move? Can somebody explain that to me? I would have been playing knight c6 a long time ago. All this time I've been playing knight d7. What's wrong with c5? Well, I wouldn't be surprised if c5 had some issues. c5 is like maybe Yabava. It looks like a Yabava move. Anyway, let's see what happens after knight c6. Of course, like, Uber Driver just castles and transposes. Duh. You're not supposed to play knight c6, so what's the problem? I don't know. I can't remember. What's the problem here? I mean, there's a very slight worsening of the pawn structure. How bad is it, though? Uber Driver doesn't remember submitting this. Yeah, this is your game, dude. I don't know why nobody plays knight c6 anymore. It looks playable, but you should probably, like, damage his pawn structure. You just ignored it. So... Wow. Black can play knight takes d4. John Bick actually played this. Is this any good? Damn, it's actually good. John knew the Petrov pretty well. He's like a FIDE master. So knight d4, it turns out, is playable. Takes guts to play that. Pop Jula actually won with black. Is it possible this is even better? What did Pop Jula do? He also did... I don't understand. Where did that game go? Where's the Pop Jula game? Knight takes e5. Where did it go? Oh, it's just down the list. Nakamura Duda. So we're transposing to another variation. You're transposing to a knight d7. Mamedyarov Kramnik. So that makes you wonder, like, is John Bick's move better? Rook e1. But John played bishop e7. Is that correct? No. So oddly enough, like, the computer says knight e6 is the better move. The guy who played knight e6, like, lost. And the guy who played the worst move actually won. That's pretty funny. So knight e6. And black is okay, apparently. I don't know, man, but you're reminding me of some Sherlock Holmes novel I just read. Arsenal fan. Obviously a lover's triangle of some sort. I'll call Holmes and Dr. Watson and send them over, dude. They should be there in the hour. So, castles, knight takes e5, d takes e5, bishop c5. The old queen g4 doesn't work in this position. Queen h5, though, is a classic. And Uber Driver also has knight c3. This is disgusting. He played bishop takes e4. That's disgusting. Is that a good move, really? This is like a reversed elephant gambit. It's LGBTQ month. Arsenal fan. Get with the program. Queen takes d8 check, king takes d8, knight c3, it's elephant gambit reversed. Like, seriously? Bishop f5, bishop e3, I don't want to trade that. But I'll do it if I have to. It's so interesting. Arsenal's now like a suburbanite. I'm talking about all this suburban stuff, like mowing his lawn and the neighbors. Alright. Castles, knight takes e5, takes here. I don't like giving up that bishop, man. Yeah, this is the position. So the computer says bishop e3. Bring me a six-pack and a bag of chips. Rookie one. Interesting. Alright, so is this... Do we have a problem here? I mean... Good structure. It looks like black's okay. We have an issue here with the C file. Bishop f5 should hold. Just when you expected knight d5, Jaws comes from the other direction. I am not afraid. I see that black's okay here, even without the oracle. But with this move, there's a sneaky little trick. The knight swinging back to d4 just when you don't expect it. You have to watch that possibility. It could swing back here when you're looking over there and you're looking over there. It could swing back to d4 and suddenly there's like the central mass coming toward you. It looks like... Yeah, Uber Driver's hanging out with Emmanuel Lasker a lot. Like, I was actually thinking bishop d7. Is this... This isn't possible, is it? Like, we're gonna get slammed. I don't like the look of this. Yeah, I mean, this is critical position. If there's a way to hold it, you gotta play perfectly here. Maybe rook c8 isn't that stupid. Yeah, c6 is a disaster. Obviously, like, c6 is not... It's not a consideration. We gotta find a way to hold this. I mean, the nice thing about the bishop is that it does control d3. So there's no rook d3 yet. I don't care. I don't think, like, losing c7 is going to lose the game necessarily. So that's not necessarily a big issue. What about a6? I mean, he might play knight d4 and maybe we're worse, but, you know, we can probably survive this even if white is better. Maybe we can survive it. So a6 is a candidate move. If a6, knight takes c7, rook c8, that's my point. Then here, I'm probably like behind you guys. I'm probably like still behind you guys in analysis. This looks pretty ugly, but I'm not sure. It looks hard to hold, I have to admit. It's like the game I had the other day. Maybe black's just lost. As weird as that seems. I don't know. Bishop e6. I don't see how to hold this. You know, you think, oh, I've got a bishop, my king in the center, has to be okay. He doesn't have that many pieces to attack me. Maybe black is basically lost. The engine came up with a move we didn't consider, but it doesn't look like a vast improvement. Everything else loses. Wow. a6 was the second best. It looks pretty ugly. So rook e8. Now there's a move you wouldn't find. Hey, can you fork me, please? Please fork me. Now rook c8. Yeah. Oh my god. So the fork doesn't work. Okay, the fork is out. The fork is on this. Yeah, it makes sense. So he has to play. There's no here. Rook takes c7 allows what? If rook takes c7, bishop d7 doesn't work because of rook d3. So you got to be really careful. a6 wins a piece. It's really sketch though. Man, this is like threading the needle. This would be crazy, but maybe black survives. Wow. Only rook e8 and then rook d1 check. King e7. And white has a clear advantage. Amazing. When is white actually going to win a pawn here? Rook c3? You never play c6 though. King f8 hitting e5 and allowing another family fork here. And then rook a d8. You'd really literally have to be like a world-class player to defend this. I mean, or a computer. Yeah, that's tough. He played c6, but you're losing a clear pawn. It's really bad. Like, you lose the pawn and you have a bad structure. Pretty hard to hold that. It's lost. So, you know, I think impressive game by Uber Driver. Almost computer-like. Settle down, Bob. It's not an accusation. Amazingly, you had a chance. Wow. Uber Driver stumbled in the double rook ending. Up a pawn. And black could have played rook e4 check. King f2 with some counterplay. Not easy to win still. Actually, Morales had more time than Uber Driver. That's impressive, dude. Like, how do you have more time than the opponent here? From the worst end of the position, the ass end of this position, you have 5 minutes to 3. I think Morales, I'm sus on that time management. You need to use more time. You played it too fast, like it was a blitz game. That was an interesting battle, but I think the variation needs better work. All right, we gotta go, guys. More time. Cooking Rooks, Acerbate. These games are speed runs. Acerbate is black. Speed runs so we can get to Turkey Farm. Serious chess. Nice. Acerbate plays a real variation. The old... What is this? What is this position? Wait a minute. Weird. Well, that's really weird. Dude, I don't think I've ever had anyone play that against me. I just seriously don't think I've ever had anyone play Queen D3. Odd. I've literally had every other move that's like playable in that position played against me. But not Queen D3. Maybe not Queen D2 as well, but every other move. Like Queen A4, Queen C4, Queen F4, Queen H4, Queen D1. Queen C3 a lot. So Queen E3 is not even on the list. That's unbelievable. And secondly, if you go to lichess, it's not even making the top 7. It's really funny. It's the 8th most popular move for white in this position. Queen D3. But it's amazing that someone actually played Queen D2, but no one has actually played Queen D3. So the point is, like, this doesn't work, right? There's no knight c5, knight c5, queen check because of queen c3. This does not work. And the queen is, like, fairly usefully developed on d3. But the problem is, like, we can stack up on this pawn. Right. So Asterbate did a good job. But he was, like, basically forced. I mean, clearly, like, knight g8 is bad, and knight h5, like, looks ugly. You were forced to play this. This is forced. And then white's just like, oh, I'm just gonna lose a pawn. Can white save the pawn, though? Probably not. He just needs to sack the pawn. So he gave Asterbate a choice. Like, you can win a pawn, or you can have my juicy bishop. You can have my juicy bishop, or take this free pawn on e5. Yeah, I would expect, like, bishop f4. Wouldn't that make more sense? And then bishop g7. And white can't defend it again. You're going to lose the pawn. Because there's queen a5 check, which is another attacker. It's basically 4 attackers, max 3 defenders. We win the pawn. We don't need queen b6. Queen b6 is dangerous. You think it's good? There are cases where you can sack that. Maybe it's good. f2 can be sacrificed. Maybe this is not a position where it can, but yeah, probably it's good, Uber driver. So maybe that's why white played bishop e3. He anticipated queen b6. Sack on f2. Possibly, but queen b6 is strong. So what do you do? You play bishop g7, and then he played bishop d4. So now we're just little combo action. Now I would play, if this were my game, I would play knight tc5 because that's like way fancier. Asterbate is like a caveman. Me get off club, hit you in head. It's much more subtle to take this way, you know. Like, it's also prettier. You get them all excited, like they want a piece, and then you slow roll them with queen a5 check, snapping off the knight on e5. But Asterbate's like scaring the prey here. You come with me. Me have big club. Take you back to cave. It's just not elegant to play queen a5 check. You're like brutally showing them what you're. But d6 is risky, homie. You got to allow bishop e5 check. Uber Driver wants to play bishop b5 check, but that's gonna require playing king f8. It's dangerous. I don't want to do that. I like knight e5. It's just really sweet. No, no danger. He has to take it. You play queen a5 check. He'll probably drop the knight out and then trade everything into a winning endgame with like queen e5. This is Asturbate's just giving away the game. c3, yeah. Asturbate's method works, but it's just not as fun. Knight f3 check here, bishop takes, pawn takes queen. Look at that, the pawn structure of the knight. This guy is the master of pawn structure. I was telling Asturbate earlier today, he doesn't understand pawn play as well as he should. I think his opponent could learn a little bit. This is not good. I still think I would probably stay on the diagonal. Maybe bishop e5. I don't know. Yeah, it's artistic, man. It's like Dali. Forget about Jackson Pollock. This shit is all over the place. You don't need to win any more pawns. You're already up a pawn anyway, and the two bishops. Okay, a6 is... He's fixing the weakness on a5. I don't like a6. It weakens our position slightly. I think he wanted to fix this target. But why didn't white play like knight b3, securing that pawn? He plays this instead. Yeah, he was heading for g3 all along. That was the plan, because the knight has a lot of mobility here. I wouldn't even do that. Asturbate just busts out the e5. But I think it's safer to just put your pawn on e6, probably. My old king g8, yeah, it might be dangerous there. I think Mule Skinner is going to castle kingside. No, seriously. There's a lot of different options. This is a totally winning position. But e5, yeah, it's okay. You gotta like bishop b8, right? It's artistic. You gotta like this. Bishop c7. I love this bishop. It's like a mole. It's like whack-a-mole. Every time you smack it, it pops out through a different hole. Bishop b8, bishop c7. How many squares has that bishop been on so far? I think I like c7 better. So he's finally undermining a color complex here with c4. Asturbate, this is the worst suspicion has been in this game. Arsenal, we're warning you again. I think I might actually decide to sack a pawn here. I think this should be seriously considered. f5, give him the pawn, and then we do centralization. But maybe it's not simple. Maybe his knight could get back in the game somehow. Bishop e6 has been called. Yeah, no. We're dropping b7. Are we? Arsenal's getting all tactical. There's this. I'm a little concerned, the bishop leaves the board and all of a sudden black's not winning anymore. This shit could go seriously south to the point where we have a Mule Skinner situation. We're actually losing a winning position, or even drawing, or even losing down the line. I mean, I get it, but I could see how black could conceivably even lose, Yeah, Arsenal's suggestion is probably reasonable. I wonder what the best move is. D takes c4, just brute force. How about f5? It doesn't love it. But it's playable. And then move the bishop again, because we haven't moved it enough. You know, it's definitely playable. Alright, we could sack a pawn there. So Astrobate does c4, d4, and going for the big whammy. The big kahuna burger. f5. Another bishop move. How many is that now? Dude, you gotta play f5 here. Come on. No, it's hanging. Sorry. You had to defend it. Oh, he doesn't repeat position. The guy could have repeated with rook f6 or rook b6. He's like playing for a win. White's playing for a win. Big mistake, dude. Uh-oh. Maybe not. Astrobate, this was a little sketchy. Not a clean game. This was not a clean game. Wow. He allows you to pin him and take on c6. Drops the exchange. And even now, I'm not sure if black is winning. Holy shit. He has knight d6 here. Triple attacking f7. You're going to have to give up the exchange or something. Get that d-pawn down, you know, right away. You might be winning. You're probably winning. You're going to have to sack on f7. The pawn might be going through. Knight f7. Maybe not, though. Can he get back in time? Are you guys confused about something? What's confusing here? Rook d8? No. It looks like Astrobate's winning. I thought maybe this was something. Rook d8 apparently does work. Wow. I didn't think it would be that clear. Check king f8. If he didn't have the damn d-pawn, looks like black could still win. It just was way too messy. It never should have gotten this out of control. Messy, messy. Too much counterplay for the opponent. Oh my god, that's ugly. And the g5. Ugh. Dude, what's your bishop doing on h4? You know white's gonna, like, get brutally mated. He self-mates. Who's self-mating who here? Astrobate is going for the, like, self-mate, and his opponent is going for self-mate too. It's like, who can get self-mated first? King h5. Unbelievable. You keep waiting, like, there's gotta be some kind of study, like, move here. Rook f6. Rook f6. I'll just keep saying rook f6, rook f6, rook f6. But, like, nothing could actually work, right? It doesn't seem like there's any way that black can actually get mated. This move and this, like, we have to get, sorry, the bishop to g4 has to happen. f4. So he played f4. But, I mean, you need, it's not going to work, right? Doesn't work. What's the best try? Yeah, rook f6. It's just hope chess. There's no way to actually get a mate. It takes too many moves. Here, no. There's no way to get there. Bishop here. D2, bishop f5, d1 queen, and then bishop g4 mate. That's the only way we can construct the mate. That's what, like, white has to bank on. Like the 4-move bishop transfer. It's too slow. Astrobate had it under control all the way, it turns out. In some kind of sick way. He does have a cute finish here. I like that g4. And then the guy trades rooks, because that's a good idea. Alright, enough scene. No one in their right mind would fall for that. Just if they're like moving the pieces without thinking. Asteroid, that was a funny game, man. But your opponent should have been... He should have been shut down with no chance. You let him out of the bag like way too much in that game. This is Cooking Rooks. We're going to quickly go over this one. Cooking Rooks with 5 gift subs. Yeah, they underestimate Acerbate a lot. Wow. Cooking Rooks with the mainline Accelerated Dragon here, but, you know, this is a funny position. There's only one good move. It's really amazing, you know. I had looked at this with Move 11 a bit, and I played Accelerated Dragon for many years. But, it's kind of crazy that, like, White literally only has one good move in this position with Bishop c4. It's sort of hard to believe, you know. It's like, is chess that limiting that there's only one good move in the entire position? It seems like most openings allow for some element of choice, you know, here. One time Move 11 asked me, like, is there any other variation that White can play except for Bishop c4? I was, like, thinking about it. Actually, like, no. Like, there is no other variation. Oh, right. Yeah, Knight g4 ideas. It's shocking, though, that White literally only has one good move in this position. It's kind of disturbing. I mean, Bishop b2, it's equal. Knight b3 is, like, equal. Anything else, like, you know, routine, like h3 or something, is equal. Queen d2 is probably a mistake. I've seen that played by a number of people. Our engine moves useless in the opening. No. No. Of course not. But Cooking Rooks plays Bishop d3. I mean, I think the important thing to understand here is that in the Sicilian defense, and Uberdrive will back me up on this, the most important square is d5. If Black achieves d5, he frees his game and he's equalized. Yeah, this f4 move, I don't know. Is that a thing? It looks like it has a bad score. It's just a... Well, Uberdriver, you know, most people would argue that the Marazzi is better. Yeah. But it's like this move order. Cooking Rooks, you can play c4. That's what Uberdriver's talking about. The Marazzi. That's considered by most cognoscenti to be the best move. But not everyone likes it, you know. I think that's not an opening I would recommend to everyone, Uberdriver. More classical style players who are playing for attack and sharp positions, they wouldn't, you know, and beginners especially, have no clue how to play with a space advantage. I mean, I think that the Marazzi, the Hedgehog, things like that, the white side of the Hedgehog, the white side of the King's Indian, the white side of the Marazzi, dude, you can't play space advantage positions until you're like at least 2000. You know, I mean, most people, it just requires a lot of precision, you know. I don't recommend like people under 2000 playing the Marazzi. So it's technical, you know, for advanced technical players. The Bishop c4 is the way to go. Bishop d3 gets in the way of your queen, and so it inhibits your ability to fight for the control of d5. This is an interesting move, though. You know, you are fighting for control of d5, and that's a good thing. Black could have played d5 right away. You know, this is a totally valid move. I mean, maybe Reshevsky fans, there's a famous Fischer game, different position. I think that d5 is good. You're getting in d5. And black equalizes. The point is, like, bishop e5 isn't dangerous because white is a tempo down here. I analyzed this with the engine. Check this out. There's what's our total stats here? Where's our stats? 8 games, 63% for white. The engine says it's totally equal. Castles. Bishop takes c6 or knight takes c6. How did this guy lose against Podlesnik? Bishop takes c6, b takes c6, knight takes c6, queen c7. Check this out. E takes d5, e6. And black is equal. You have to know, like, exactly. And black totally equalizes. White's like, wait a minute, where's my white square bishop? I thought I had a white square bishop somewhere. Where did it go? Oh, I don't have a white square bishop anymore. Okay. So, I'd forgotten this, but I had looked at it at one point. And the other way, also leaves, like, white struggling for development here. I looked at this with the engine long ago. It's not really important, though. Black has enough counterplay. It's sort of natural for black. So the point is, like, d5, breaks out. But most people prefer to castle first. This is an interesting move, though, queen f3. I'm sure we'll see it in the lichess positions. Yeah, there's actually 61 cases of this happening on lichess. So at least he's doing the right thing, trying to stop d5. Yeah, and that's a horror show, e5. Yeah, I mean, e5, really, really bad move. I mean, the only case where this would be good is if you get in d5. If you can guarantee you'll get in d5, maybe e5 is not so bad. But generally speaking, you don't want to play e5 in the accelerated dragon, blocking your bishop. Actually, who am I talking about? Cooking Rooks had another game where he failed to play knight b5 in a similar position where it was good. It's interesting that here it's not good because you don't have anything to back it up, I guess, on the d file. So, better off just retreating to a sensible location. b3 or e2 looks more congested. So you went there. Maximum, like, we want to try to jam the maximum amount of pieces in a little kind of tiny box. As small as possible, So maybe we can do, like, I was thinking something like this, like d6, castles queenside, a6, maybe rook d2, b5, rook a d1, so we can get them all, like, inside this little square here. That that way we have, like, almost no mobility for the pieces whatsoever. Once I saw Ivanov, my friend Alexander Ivanov did this to a guy who was like 2175. The tournament started, it was some open, and his opponent, I think it was James Anderson. It was like a 2199 player. The guy, like, after an hour, all of his pieces were, like, jammed in this little box. I was like, whoa, what happened over there? That's not a good sign. Like, if your pieces are jammed into a little square, it means they have no mobility whatsoever. Black's a little better off here. I'm just kidding around. So, anyway, the bishop on d3, you get it. It's getting in the way. Knight on e2 is getting in the way. That's why I personally like knight b3 better. And then sometimes you'll see, these people will talk about this. Sometimes the pieces are better placed, adjacent to their, like, friends. They're like racist. We only hang out together. These pieces here. Bishops with bishops. Knights with knights. There's no woke ideology of those pieces. Alright, stupid jokes. d6. You know, I'm thinking like black can probably try to go for something crazy with d5. I don't know if it works. We'll have to calculate. But look at your queen. It has almost no squares. I mean, it's possible we get in trouble. I wouldn't be surprised. Does d5 work? It's complicated, but it's playable. Alright, I'm not surprised. d6 is more safe here. Damn, dude, you're getting the box on. Getting your box on. No, rook d1, alright. Get that bishop off of d3, man. That was your best minor piece, theoretically, but he screwed himself up. Like, his bishop is now an issue. So, while you have a bad bishop, he also has a bad bishop on g7. This move is horrifying. I hope he's not going to take that. Now maybe d5 for black. So he takes. This is golden, you know. He takes white's like bad bishop on d3. Yeah, now white is like better. How to go from worse to better in one move. The single most important square in the Sicilian is d5, and that's all you need to know, you know. Black just could have played d5, and instead he like went here, and now he can never play d5. It's also possible to take with the pawn, or take with the rook. I don't know which is best. But queen d6 hits the d6 pawn. I'm honestly not sure if I want to take it, but yeah, probably. Now black's reduced to cheapos. Okay. That's a nice move. He's got this. That was a nice move. Yeah, I mean, he found queen g5. I was telling one of my students today, basically, you know, strong players understand, like, the best way to defend a weak pawn is, like, not to defend it. I mean, that's golden chess advice. You never want to get passive, like being tied down to protecting stuff. So you always want to seek an active solution. Yeah, I'm not sure I want to take the pawn anyway. I don't give a shit about that. So king h1, or just let's drop the knight on d5. You're actually protected here. The important thing is that you have two good knights against two bishops in a closed structure. And the bishop on g7 is bad. He'll get some counterplay with f5. But he has white square weaknesses there. Anyway, guys, I gotta hurry up. It's almost time to fall asleep here. So, you messed up. You lost a pawn. It's not the end of the world. Don't like that move. Rook f1, very passive. Maybe you had no choice. Maybe you had no choice. You probably looked at this and saw queen e2. It's not, we're not happy about this. He missed knight e7. Nice, nice. You took him down. Take it down, rook up. We got him now. That's a little greedy, but we'll take it. Trying to trade pieces, good. We should be able to win this, but you messed up and you dropped a piece. Oh man. Now you're still winning, but you gotta get your rook in the game. This is speed run. Queen a1 is ugly. Get your rook in the game, dude. Oh, he dropped a piece. Alright. Yeah, it was ugly. He was playing for time. And you took him down with that b pawn. That's right. That's two queens, buddy. That's right. I don't know what just happened there, but we're going to pretend it didn't. No stalemates. Alright, I think you got it, man. No stalemate, please. That was entertaining. Alright, last game. Testosterone. We stayed in there for testosterone. with a hype train. Last game for today. Lots of humor. Just asked from playing the Nimzo. And 92. So I played both sides of this. This has become popular lately. As I said before on the stream, maybe you submitted a game this line. It used to be like a really rare line, but it's become somewhat popular. I've played it occasionally, but you know the interesting thing was we saw this before. Not again. This is the same line. Okay. Yeah, I've mostly played D6. I didn't realize when I played this, I was always trying to play it like a King's Indian. So I always tried to do it this way. Let's watch from the black side. Okay. So, yeah, my own experience in playing, only in Blitz I've played this. I've always done like D6 and tried to turn it into a King's Indian. I saw a game years ago where Michael Rode played it with black against Fiegler, and Fiegler was tough. He was like a IM strength player from the Marshall. He was a sandbagger who would like keep his rating down on purpose. Really good correspondence player. But he beat me a couple times. Once in I think they were King's Indians. But he would always play this 92. I think move 11 played him. But D5 apparently is the move. Yeah, you know what you're doing. Black has a really good score here. I mean, the knight on G3 is kind of dumb, actually. So I would be suspicious of that. After bishop f8, I'm not thinking like, I'm thinking like maybe knight G3 is not a good move. White needs like a new way to play this position. What about E4? It seems completely logical to play E4 now. Still D5. Funny, I lost to Schulman in a 92 Nimzo years ago. There's a bunch of games here. I would think E4. I don't like knight G3. This knight looks stupid, to be honest. But now Turkey Farm took on C4. I don't know, what you're supposed to do. It seems weird to take on C4. I don't know what to play though. I've never played this variation. A5 is interesting. This is 0-4. Just slowing white down on the queen side. You gave up the center. Yeah, I mean, it looks like the obvious plan is to play for C5. You want to equalize the game by breaking with C5. So you tried something different here. B5. It's like a Queen's Gambit accepted now. So if white plays like B4, that's the question. If you can't get in C5, you might just be worse. Amaranth is working hard lately. Yeah, I noticed that. When she had the accidental slip or whatever, she looked like a normal girl. Money can turn you into a Hollywood star. You don't even need talent, Bob. Bob, focus on the chess. So C5. That seems like theoretically correct. Problem is now, can you still play C5? Is there an issue with this? Is Queen F3 an issue? Is there some kind of technical problem? Like there, Rook A7? Can the Asterbait maneuver hold? Yes. The Asterbait maneuver is holding. Alright. But the question is B4. The answer is A5. What about this A5? I don't understand. Okay, what's the deal here? Do we just end up with the worst pawn structure? Knight takes b5, pawn takes b4. Pawn takes b4, bishop takes b4. Maybe white is better. I don't know. I don't really like the way Turkey Farm played it. I wouldn't play it like this. I'm afraid that I'm positionally going to get screwed here. Knight on bd7, bishop e2. You got in e5. You played like Magnus Carlsen style. Like, I don't want to equalize with c5. I want to like take a riskier approach and keep the pawn structure imbalanced. But b4 shouldn't surprise you. I mean, that is a strong sort of positional idea. You know, you're supposed to be playing for c5. What you did here is like much more against the grain. I mean, now your king side is vulnerable. I mean, it's very brute force what white's doing, but you had the dance here with rook e6. That's so lucky that you have that move. Nothing else works. I mean, rook e7, knight f5 resigns. Queen e7, knight f5 is horrible. Queen e6 you'd have to play. So you're lucky you have this. But I mean, I think positionally you're in big trouble, no? After d5. White's pieces are a bit strangely placed, but unless you can break out, you're in big trouble. This is a key move because you don't want your rook to like be on d6 where it gets hit by this knight e4 or something. You like have to get counterplay. This is amazing. If you make this work, you know, it's basically like what black's doing is like a Houdini sort of thing. I mean, how dangerous is this? Can you play maybe queen e8 or something and not have to move that bishop again and play like a5? I don't know. It's possible. It looks like f4 is on the way, so Turkey Farm maybe anticipated that. With this move, he blockades d5, but he also inhibits f4. So now e4, white has no f4, and black has counterplay with a5 and c6. c6 has to be played carefully because f7 has to be protected on the diagonal. And you got counterplay on the a file. That was very crafty, you know, like you played chess like an alien, a little bit in a sort of alien way. I could see how white underestimated you. It looked clumsy, but it all works. So now knight takes d6. Your pawn on b5 is not great. With no bad pieces? Yeah, we have a bad piece. I don't know which way to recapture here, but there's one thing that I'm thinking, you know, that you can't take with the rook, I guess, because of this. If you take with the queen, there's still a theoretical chance you could play c6 later and like bust your bishop out. But it just feels like you're asking too much. You know, it's like never going to happen. You'll never be able to do that. So you did the safe thing. The problem is like your bishop's going to have to come back here. You got to transfer. Wow. Dude. Nice move. Bishop c8 immediately. Uh-oh. I mean, can we defend? I don't like it, but I'd rather not lose that pawn. I don't see how we can afford to lose this. How bad is rook b8? It's just temporary. But I'd really rather not lose that if it's not absolutely necessary. I mean, obviously, like, white can try to weasel in here and, like, attack it a third time. But I'm not sure, you know, he can do that so quickly. Uber driver, come on, f4. Get out of here. f4 is crazy. It involves a lot of risk for white. You've got huge hole here, d4, g4, the e5 square for black. I mean, this is an extremely dangerous move for white to play. You've got a fork there immediately. I'm going to blockade the e5. My queen can, like, bust out on the dark squares. I don't think that white can just play f4 so easily. At the very minimum, he definitely has to do, like, h3 or something to stop. You know, he would have to think about, like, preparing it. I just don't think that white can play f4 yet. And actually, Turkey Farm is anticipating that. But he played instead knight h5. Yeah, I don't like sacking this. This actually works. You know, the interesting thing also is that, like, if you didn't play knight h5, like, say you just did a random move, like h6, if white takes here, you might have sacrifices, or even this in some positions. Like, I don't know if this works tactically, but it probably does. It's like, so you go knight h5, but now we can take on b5. It's very risky. So interesting. You sacked a pawn, alright? Here, and then queen a4. Nice move. So if he takes here, what do? Just recapture, and we don't do anything crazy with, like, rook takes b4 maybe. But I think here, yeah, there's some compensation. So this is a blitz game, dude. He's down to 18 seconds. Pretty good game for this time control, honestly. You feel like the queen is the main character at the chess show. Knight f6. Did you have something? No, I don't know. It was an interesting game for a blitz game. There's that queen a5. Wow. This guy's 2600. No wonder he played alright. Luton. But you have knight takes e4 again. Time is the problem. Turkey Farm has 14 minutes to 48. It looks like he still has this, though. Knight e4 is playable. Take, take, take. Your d6 is maybe a problem. It's very unclear. I have no idea what's going on here. White is still better. Bishop a3. Wow. Yeah, you're totally still in it. You missed knight e4. Knight f4. Here. Good battle, though. You definitely have it now. You weren't looking for this tactic. Yeah, this is like two. You gotta try to destroy his center. I mean, this is such an obvious shot. You got driven to sort of passivity. And now your knight is out on Uber driver land. Double knights. Oh, the maiden one. The knight on h5 is the star. He saw the maiden one. This is really funny. Turkey Farm is still playing for maiden when he got mated. Damn, dude. No, you had a lot of opportunities in that game. Guys, thanks for watching. It's super late. I'm out of here. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back, if I'm still functioning, after this long and grueling stream. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I'm sorry, 11 a.m. I don't know what time it is. 11 a.m. CST. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Thanks, Mr. Coffee and Arsenal. Good stream. Thanks for the support, guys. Have a great night. Bye-bye.